Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is now episode 410. In this episode, basketball is back. We are going to be previewing the Eastern Conference, coming up with the biggest questions for each team, looking at their win total as projected by Vegas, and much more. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty great. We've had a lot of football conversations, a lot of football content being pushed out, and I feel like we could have recorded a whole episode based off the hour that we've been here prior to hitting record because the Eagles conversation continued. However, I'm done with it. I don't want to hear another word of it until we talk about football again. We're here to talk about basketball. Basketball's back. I'm excited. The Eastern Conference may be a little bit boring because of one team in particular, but we got some new blood on the block. And God willing, they can pull it off. I'm talking about those New York Knicks. But I'm excited to talk basketball, of course. Let's do it.
I was trying to find some Jalen Hurts in the pocket numbers. He's been great over the middle of the field this year, though. He's been sensational.
Why are you doing this, Joel?
I was just looking.
Joel, I swear to God, Joel, I'm begging you. I just wanted to. Please do not entertain.
Want to share my findings.
Why are you looking at me? I didn't say nothing.
I said don't entertain it.
He's just been great over the middle of the field.
Just hear him, process, ignore. I don't want to hear a rebuttal. And Joel, shame on you.
Drew, it's Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday.
Usually never does
all
it,
the games are gonna happen. I mean, we'll wait till then.
All right, good.
We got the
Love
Sunday night reaction.
Love that.
Got the Sunday reaction. You know, I know.
Even though it's not a reaction anymore. Break that.
Yes. Okay. So on Sunday, we'll be doing a primetime watch along for the second half of the Sunday Night Football game. We'll be going live here on YouTube. And in that, we'll be doing just recaps of every game that happens throughout Sundays. We'll be answering your guys' super chats. So very interested in doing that. It's going to be a great week 3 of football.
What is tomorrow's Sunday night game?
Chiefs and Falcons.
Are we going to have the game up there?
Yeah, definitely we'll have the game showing in the studio.
No.
No.
We'll get copyright.
Yeah.
The NFL was sued.
You know what we should do? Probably get an upgrade at television.
That's a fact.
Yes, that's probably the next thing that we got to invest in.
Wavy.
But yeah, Johnny Boy.
John's like my little brother, man. I like the
respect John. That's the movement right now.
No,
I'm going to be transparent with you. That shit was some of the weakest things I've ever seen in my life.
Bro, still hurt.
Respect John. Nah, that really did bother me.
You were coping.
Who respects John? Coping?
You were coping bad.
How was I coping?
And I will say this.
Because if there's going to be false allegations under my name, yeah, I guess we're going to call it coping.
John,
how did you
my
feel?
Boy. Let's go. Respect John, man.
Dehls and John are on the same team.
My dog right here.
Riv, how do you feel about Drew pinning 90% of the blame on you?
Yes.
And 10% on himself?
It's justified.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You think so?
I do all the hating, for sure. I hate John. In here,
any
out here.
normal
I think you're being kind.
I mean,
John,
how do you feel?
John,
Yeah,
turn
John,
around.
yeah.
Don't look at the camera. Don't put it on you. Turn around and look at me.
yo.
Look at me.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna keep this shit on.
All right. All right, I can look here. You're going to sit here and tell me that it's not 90% him?
It's mostly Riv. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Do I care?
Of course not, because you're a grown-ass man. And all you guys that are watching and you're soft,
I don't care.
understand that John knows what time
Why
it
does he
is.
keep dropping it?
Was that his headphones, probably?
I was moving
John is
myself
being
to-
nice, man. Listen, 90-10 split I think is nuts. If you want to say 70-30, that's fine.
You know what it is?
Oh, no. 90-10 is more than fair. 90-10 is more than fair.
You know what I did? And I admitted it, and I thought it was funny. When he was like, I'm at a 3.5.
No, that was crazy.
Right? Yeah, I knew that was crazy.
85-15. 85-15.
I was joking with him. But every other time when
He
he's
just was like,
I was
mocking
at 3.5.
I'd love to hear what the audience thinks
That's why
about
I was
this.
like, damn.
But every time that he would go and speak, Riv is saying something, John stops. And all I'm trying to do is tell him, just keep going. Ignore him. Because he's going to keep doing it every single time.
I own him.
We're going to be here forever.
He's mine.
Fuck that. You don't own shit.
Wow.
And me getting grouped into that was fucking nuts. And do I mess with John? Absolutely.
I had a joke.
Because I mess with every single one of y'all.
I had a joke that I obviously can't say, but it's a fun. I'm gonna say it after the show. It fit perfectly to what I said after I said I own you. Like it fits so perfect.
So what do you think
feel like we
the
get
split?
I feel like I
The
should
audience
text it.
right now comments the split of how much they think you and Riv heckle
Santos,
John. What do you think
Santos
it
is a glazer. He'll go 60-40. That's what he tweeted at me. The realistic one is, you say 85-15? Fair. I would legitimately say 90-10, but fine. If that's what it is, I'll accept 15. Because even still, my 15% is out of love. For this guy, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like a lot of the time Riv is starting it too.
I mean, but I think that Riv
He's
just
instigating it. John says something just a little off that could get twisted, and Riv is on him.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
why
think
I
it
was
is?
sick. I'm like, yo, come on, y'all putting Riv's bullshit because of me.
I think it's the fact that Riv is more out there with it. I think you're more subtle. Like Riv
Like what?
Riv doesn't hide
He
it.
goes out of his way.
How am I subtle?
On
way.
Twitter, Joel posted about John, and I was like, fuck that.
How am I subtle?
I would just mention how Riv is outward with it. I mean, how many times does he say he hates Dehls on a podcast? He had
So how am I
I hate
subtle?
him.
But what am I subtle?
Unequivocally.
But what is there to be subtle
Wonder why
about?
you
the
hate us.
3.5 comment was subtle.
That's
Wonder why.
not subtle. It was me actively making fun of him. There's nothing subtle about it.
It wasn't. You were just like in the
Right?
corner.
Like, come on, there was
I get
nothing
why you
subtle
say, I get
about
why
that.
you say that. Because you was faking the corner with it, just like.
Who, me? No, I was here in a microphone. You can still hear me.
That is fun. Now fuck those
Subtle.
guys.
That's
man.
not a
John
word.
Dehls, man.
Man,
Hey,
how do
both
you,
of them.
you
Are
know,
you adding this guy into that list too?
Who?
Joel?
If he.
You know, that's on me.
if he
I
keeps saying
apologize.
them
That's the Eagles
man.
conversation. Let's keep that for another day.
yeah, we'll mention it next time when we do football. You know, we've had some conversations. I've texted Riv on the side, you know, just letting him know.
Unfortunately, I can't. My texts are fucked
You
up.
saw-
on
I
my
saw
phone.
that.
Yeah,
That
my
your
phone
phone's
is,
cooked?
It's like the government got me. It's glitching. It's like hot glitching all the damn
I'll take a
time.
look at it.
Thank you. I
Before we
appreciate
get
that.
into
tried
the
to turn it off and
basketball
on?
stuff
I did that
on the
multiple
podcast, what I do want to mention is the fact that the Jets beat the Patriots 24-3.
Ass
And I
kicking.
don't want to give a recap on how the game happened or nothing like that. I'm just very excited that Aaron Rodgers showed
Is
that
back.
he can still play at an elite level.
Nah, he was cooking.
And if we're getting that version of Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh blitz on the highest percentage of opposing dropbacks that he's ever done since he's been a defense coordinator with the Jets, it was a statement game. Our defense locked up, not impressive because it's the Patriots offense, but our offense doing that to the Patriots defense.
For sure.
That's the biggest reason that I have optimism. And it's the best quarterback play that I've ever seen. And I'm hoping that
That he's seen as a Jets fan.
As
a Jets fan.
He didn't say that.
No, I understand.
I knew
what
what
he
he
meant.
was
I knew what he
saying. I knew
meant.
it.
He's a very particular guy,
bro,
but I
he's
knew what he
got,
meant.
he's got this fucking guy over
Oh
here.
my god,
that-
you got him side by side.
crazy.
That's nuts.
I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers in the middle here.
He should have been there.
I have the jersey. I just need another hanger.
No. He should
I've
have been there
blessed
first.
you with some of the goats.
Yes.
Aaron
You got me
Rodgers,
the Aaron
like,
I
Rodgers
got you
jersey.
Rodgers and
And
Sauce.
Sauce, yes.
Which Rodgers did you get?
The green one.
Crazy question.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be crazy.
Wait,
to some
actually,
people.
now I'm doubting myself.
I
Did
think
I
you
get
got
you
the
the
Sauce one.
Rodgers?
I think
know I got
Santos
some.
might have got
You're
some
right.
Rodgers.
Facts.
This might be crazy to others.
Because I don't want to
Oh,
disrespect
facts,
Santos.
Facts,
Mhm.
facts.
For people who are fans of their teams, this is a solid question. Why isn't Aaron Rodgers and Sauce on the wall behind you?
Wow. That's a great question.
I think it is, right?
That's an
It's-
amazing question.
To be fair, I haven't changed mine, and
It's
I would
not your
definitely.
home.
I know, but I would definitely change it to Sauce or Rodgers. I guess.
That's a good question.
Because I
So
don't know.
that's,
where
I
I
feel
would-
like that's a.
that.
I don't think that's the craziest question I've ever
I just
heard.
realized once you said you had, I didn't think you had two Jets jerseys, but now I know you have Aaron.
But
and
they're
Sauce.
both green though, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think-
even if it didn't matter, white,
But the green and white would have been a nice.
I
but
think
both green.
maybe I can put them on. I think the biggest
Maybe.
reason I didn't is because there's already Jets decorations behind me.
Okay.
Asandra
Don't wanna
Arenas
be-
football.
don't wanna
Really
look
a
like
Jets
we're a Jets
podcast.
fan.
Yes,
you know
Mark
everybody knows it already?
Sanchez. Mark Sanchez action figure with the
Right,
Jets
Okay.
kind of banner I got on opening day when I went to see the Jets as well. So I thought, I got the Jets decoration there
Because
already.
before you had more Mahomes stuff up.
When?
You had the poster thing, the Mahomes.
It's his
poster
background.
thing.
You can't forget
it's,
the
it's the
background.
Burrow,
Yeah.
Burrow
And then you have
Mahomes
Mahomes.
background. Crazy.
Yeah, so you've got to have a Mahomes.
No, the
Burrow
Mahomes
vibe.
Burrow wallpaper.
It's nuts.
It legitimately
It's so
gives me a
crazy.
stomachache.
2022 was peak, man.
Oh my god.
I'm hoping that Joe Burrow gets back
Oh
to
yeah.
that level.
When Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl, that was peak.
Yeah, you're reminiscing on that year too. Hey, you
so
can't
yeah.
get his sausage out your mouth right now.
Oh my
You talk about
God.
the Eagles.
Oh my
God.
Yo, how many
Oh
times
my
have you mentioned
God.
the Eagles?
No,
This
OD,
this
you're
podcast.
talking-
That was
He's right.
2022.
He's right. He's right.
That was the
Right.
year.
Stop
that's
bringing up the
that's
Eagles.
Just, that's
He's
just
right.
the year that you were most wrong about Jalen Hurts. That's all.
Oh, that's also true. But stop, please, please.
Sorry. Riv, because me and Drew talked on Fantasy Reaction. Were you moved by the Jets win?
Moved. Did I say I was moved?
No. I know
Okay.
you were moved.
But Rodgers moved me.
Yes.
He
It was
moved me.
definitely more of the move by the offense a little bit. We've been propping up the Patriots for 3 weeks. We've acknowledged the fact that their defense is elite. So for them to go out there, and it was from start to finish. This wasn't like they didn't take too much time to get into it, and they just started chopping New England's defense up. So move. I'm
Slightly.
keeping my eye open.
Agreed.
That's
That's-
my
If
new
we
thing
beat the
that I'm
Broncos next week, though,
How does Rodgers look? because our defense has looked okay.
All right, no. I've already gave you. I keep my eyes on it.
The defense I don't care about
But we got
against
the
us.
Bills soon.
That's what
No,
and
Minnesota
that's
and
what
the
I
Bills.
said.
Minnesota's in London.
And that's what I said to you. I said you go out there, Minnesota and or
Addison
Buffalo.
probably plays that game.
Yeah.
He's not playing tomorrow.
Hassan Reddick might
So
play.
I'm just embracing what the Jets got going on right now
As you
because
should.
Jets
John made this comment 2 podcasts ago when I told him to shut the hell up. When he said that,
shut the hell up.
When the Jets were gonna miss the
Have
playoffs for
more.
the next 14
Yep.
years, and it actually, looking back at that moment, I was like, you actually helped my case because if you're telling me this isn't gonna happen for another 14 years,
You
why
have to
wouldn't
be
I
happy.
be excited about just
Facts.
making the playoffs
Every
this
single
year?
win, you like geek the fuck up.
So I'm just enjoying this because I don't know
When it can happen
when
again.
we're gonna get a quarterback like this again.
Look at the Broncos, right?
Yeah.
I should have took that as a obviously I'm a Payne
It's a
Manning
shame that
fan.
you've never you haven't
he's
seen
gone
with your
and-
team a Super Bowl.
My team's terrible.
No,
Not-
not
It's a
yet.
shame. Not even 2 Super Bowls.
Nope,
not one
not yet.
appearance. Not an
I've
NFC
seen Mahomes
championship.
do it though. Mahomes has made up
Oh
for it
my
for me.
God! Stop.
That's it. We're talking about your team.
I know.
I'm
Well,
saying your team.
Mahomes
You're number
counts-
one team.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Number one team. You're
Damn.
right. But Mahomes has definitely filled in the
14
void
years.
of my football.
If Aaron Rodgers
Sadness.
looks how he looked last night, 2 nights ago, Jets can win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It's a fact.
As someone who roots for LeBron James, I
Well, we're
can only say
contenders.
so
We're
much
contenders.
about rooting
Yeah,
for the best,
that's
but
contenders.
Jesus Christ, this kills me.
Well, no, I don't think when you look at the
You have had
context
14
behind
years of
it,
misery, LeBron.
looking at the
No,
Eagles in
no,
the
I've
Super
been
Bowl
lit.
in 2022.
The thing is, I was like 7, 8 years old.
When I picked the Chiefs to win in 2022,
Right.
everybody thought that the Eagles were just gonna blow the Chiefs out the water. They were a far better team.
Talk about that year.
And-
Tell them how you picked Dallas to go to NFC
Okay.
Championship. You have to always add that.
And mention how you
because
picked
it
the
makes
Bills
sense.
to go last year and then the year before as well.
You was with
So
me.
you did
you.
Not the year before, not last year.
But last year you did.
2 years ago,
In 2022.
I know.
No, yeah, I like the Bills.
And last year you took the
But
Ravens.
I'm saying, there's
last year you took the Ravens.
There's
You went
no-
to my second team. Let it
there's
be
no
known, bro.
relevancy to what you're
No,
saying.
none.
We're both
None.
Bills
What I'm,
fans.
what,
Zero
I'm, what I'm
relevancy.
saying is that year, if the Eagles would have won, I know what it would have been if I came on a podcast.
sure.
Mahomes saved my legacy. That
See,
was one
he
time he
did.
saved my
He
legacy.
did.
This past year, when they faced the 49ers, if the Niners would have won with Brock Purdy, I was going to be in for a rough day. Mahomes saved my
He
legacy
did.
again. Mahomes has saved my legacy
ain't
multiple
saved.
times.
It's
I
Mahomes.
won
Mahomes.
money.
That's
really
why,
give a shit.
and that's why I say,
no,
as a
shut
LeBron
up.
fan,
I don't want to hear
see,
that.
That's
I
it.
don't-
Facts.
the reason
I can't
I
say
don't,
much.
the reason
To be
why I don't
fair-
want to hear that is because you say, "Oh, it's Mahomes." Yeah, okay, you had the Chiefs as pretenders all year long last
Mahomes
year,
didn't
and you had
save
the
your
Ravens
legacy
beating
last
them.
year.
So I don't want to hear that.
I
Now
predict
that
And
the,
then this
them-
year, and can't forget
I
about this year.
predict them to win the Super Bowl.
now that the Chiefs won, oh yeah, we all knew it was going to happen. Oh, that's
No, it's
obvious.
just Mahomes. No,
It's just-
it's
it's
just
just Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't
Just
think he
Mahomes.
saved your
Mahomes.
legacy last
Just
year.
Mahomes.
2 years.
No,
Two
last year
years-
definitely.
no,
Last
2
year-
years- no,
last year
If
you did
Brock Purdy won
fine.
the Super Bowl, what happens?
That's
That had nothing to do with Mahomes.
I mean,
That
you
did.
know what? That's fair. It has something to do with you because you made your legacy worse in that situation on your own.
Yeah, low-key, 'cause you were
done
hating
it-
on
you done
Brock.
it- You did it
Well,
to
no, it's
yourself.
because I was telling the truth about Brock Purdy. That's what they was doing.
I don't
That's
know.
what I was doing.
Well, now
That's what I was
Brock
doing.
Purdy-
Basketball. Can we talk about basketball?
It's 14 minutes in. It's
I
the
thought we
intro.
were talking about the Jets.
It is the 30
It is the intro. I do
But I'm
love the
saying, what I'm
intro,
saying is that
but
Mahomes
fuck.
saved my legacy, so I owe this
who
man a
has-
lot. And when I one day shake his hand, hopefully I do, I'm gonna simmer in that moment.
Thanks, big bro. Big bro, you don't know what you've done for me in my podcast
I'm gonna
endeavors.
go Dylan Raiola. I'm gonna
Oh
wear the
my
Oakley
God.
glasses.
What?
I'm gonna get the haircut. I'm gonna wear a 15 jersey. I'm gonna go full on Dylan Raiola, and then I'm gonna post a picture. What's up, Cuzzo?
Cuzzo.
Yeah.
He's elevated from big bro to cousin.
Yo, bro, he's not family, bro.
You're crazy.
Yo, that's. I mean, when are the Jets gonna save your legacy?
This year.
We'll make the playoffs this year. I think that's a
should.
lock. I think that's a lock that we're
How
making the
about
playoffs
Dallas?
this
When
year.
are they gonna save your
Oh
legacy?
my God.
I'm out on Dallas.
Shouldn't
this
bet
year.
on Dallas.
You keep bringing up Dallas.
Now, I'm
I'm
gonna be
saying that
honest,
I'm
I
out
would
on
keep
Dallas.
doing it
You said
too.
they were gonna win the division. I think they are.
Once I
But
found
I'm talking
those,
about anything
Drew,
further than the
once I
regular
found
season,
those
I'm out on
videos of
Dallas.
him saying that
Oh,
back-to-back
yeah.
years,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep bringing it
Yeah,
up for like
I
another
would-
year.
If Dallas goes on a 4-game win streak
Oh,
sometime
he's
this
back.
year, you're not jumping on.
I don't believe in Dallas at all.
Okay.
They have flaws on their team that I think they can't avoid.
He just got
either.
bent over and plowed by the
They
Saints.
just
we've
have
seen
a
it
lot
before.
of talent on their team that can make up for some of that at some point. But no, the Cowboys, they're a great regular season team that they're going to do poorly in the playoffs. That's just what they are. So in the regular season, I respect what they're going to be able to do. But in the playoffs, no, I'm out on them, 100% out. And you're rich for that because I texted Riv my NFC East standings back in 2022, and I had the Eagles
That
finishing
didn't matter
first.
because when was that because there was another video that popped up when Brandon Cooks got traded to the Cowboys. You said they're winning the whole
That's
NFC.
last year, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm just bringing up. I've
Brandon
seen
Cooks moving you like that's
multiple
kinda
clips of
crazy.
you
He cooked.
changing your
Can't
pick,
forget
Bro,
and
he's
your
getting
pick
40
always
yards
gets
from
changed at the
touchdowns.
like at an
He's got
opportune
40
time. Every
yards.
time.
But also, I was right about the Eagles last year.
Sure.
I was
But
right
every
about
time
them.
Dallas either wins a big game or they go on a big streak, it's always opportunity.
Well, they don't win a lot of big games.
Either that or they
beat
go
up
on a streak.
good
They're the
teams.
NFC Dolphins.
He
Yeah,
jumps in and starts. I believe in them.
Yeah.
Dallas. And yes, you were right.
It's
one
hard
year.
to.
That's right, bro.
It's
We got
hard.
some things in common.
There are some things that they string me. They hit my emotional heartstrings.
They do nothing.
But this year, no. Like I said, I'm out on Dallas. But last year, I picked the Dallas Cowboys to win NFC East.
And you
they did do
oof,
that.
You got lucky.
Okay, yeah, you guys collapsed. You're right. You guys did collapse.
Yeah,
If
we
you
were-
guys didn't collapse, you guys would have won.
I mean,
the
they didn't
division.
go
100%.
anywhere in this
11
fucking
and
and
playoffs.
hurt. And Jalen Hurts was hurt. You can't forget that.
And you Miami Dolphins did at the second half of the
OD.
season.
For sure.
But
Dallas
no, yeah, I
definitely won a
picked the
playoff
Cowboys.
game and got further than the Eagles last year. It's a fact.
he actually
No,
lost
they
in the same
didn't.
round.
That's
He
what
did.
I'm
The
saying.
sarcasm
I know.
was there.
No, I know. But listen,
As a
the
matter of
Cowboys,
fact,
you don't
they-
trust
they
in the
got
playoffs.
bent the fuck
In the
over at
regular
home.
season,
Bad.
they've won 12 games in each of the last 3 seasons. So in the regular season, the Cowboys are great. In the playoffs, they're not great. They choke.
Oh, you talking about Dallas? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
The only team that has won more games than them in the regular season has been the Chiefs.
Last 3 years?
In the regular season.
Pretty sure we're like top 5 in that mark.
Yeah. It's just in 3 years ago, the Eagles went 9-8 and the Cowboys won 12 games, but they lost in the wild card to the 49ers when they had Jimmy Garoppolo.
They went back to
Oh
back.
no,
years.
actually no. Or
No.
was it Brock Purdy's?
No, first year.
They lost to
First
Brock in the
year
second. They
when
lost
he
to
went,
Boston in the second
that was
round.
when Dak scrambled for
Division.
with whatever time left.
That was
Yeah,
divisional. That
that
was
was in the
They don't
second
get the
round
spike.
No, that
because
might
they
have
had
been
beat
4
Tampa
years
Bay.
ago.
No,
that was the Brock
It was-
4
it
years
was-
He's
ago?
lost to the Niners only once, right? Or was it twice?
No,
He's lost
Twice.
twice.
So
Okay.
it was
He lost
2021.
once on the road, once at home.
2021, he
You're right,
lost to
100%.
Garoppolo. 2022, he lost to Purdy, where
Yep.
Dak was atrocious.
Yeah.
Last season, he lost to Green Bay.
Yeah, no. I mean, Dak, when you look at his playoff numbers, he's the worst quarterback in the playoffs over the last 3-4 years.
And this past game is going to boost his numbers crazy, and it does not matter.
Worse than Lamar?
yes.
His numbers are pretty terrible.
They're worse than Lamar's?
I don't know.
I don't know if they're as bad, but
Because the garbage time stats may have saved him.
No, with that game,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. It probably saved him.
Yeah.
Lamar also has that game where he has 500 total yards, but
Versus the Titans,
he
where
was
they
the
got
offense,
smoked.
but it just wasn't pretty.
they didn't have a chance in that game. He milked out that yard.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what Dak basically did.
That's exactly
kind
what
of
he
did. You're right.
cancels out.
That's what I mean.
The first team we're going to get into, the Boston Celtics, 58.5 wins this year. The
That's
Boston
their
Celtics.
under 58 and a half?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Boston
we're
Celtics.
going to go from 1 through 15, and with each team that we talk about, we'll have the lower third on the screen right here, and we'll also talk about biggest questions with the team.
Look how pretty that
Just
looks,
anything
man.
else.
Oh, this lower third's nice.
You like it?
I like it.
Shout
This lower
out
third's nice.
to Jess.
Shout out to Jess.
Jess has
She
bugged
tweets.
on these lower thirds.
Did you see that on the pick'em graphic? She added John.
I did.
To the pick'em graphic.
And the little medal,
ribbon?
the first place
You fuck
thing.
with that?
That's
Absolute
tough.
God,
legend.
you know what killed
Tough.
me? The picture that she drew for John.
Yeah.
That's my profile picture in
Relax.
IG.
I'm sorry, John.
Sorry,
What
John.
makes you laugh
Respect
about
John.
Hold up. Sure, what's so funny about that? What you giggling at? I look goofy.
Joel also looks goofy, to be fair.
I
I
look
think they all
goofy.
look kind of goofy.
They're
but that-
supposed to look
I think
goofy.
that's what the vibe
Does that
is.
look like me? Because I got on Jess and I was like, "Yo, babe, I honestly feel like you could have drew me better."
It's like a cartoon vibe. though.
exactly.
I'm not,
They all don't. They all look like us in a weird way.
yeah. I think the design is. I like the idea.
I have
I think it's
blindly
cool.
ranking.
Before we get into the
We already got the Celtics lower third, though, bro.
No. This is how we get it done. Get the lower third off the screen, John.
Oh shit! I
Blind
didn't listen. I didn't even realize we had the Celtics thing.
Let's just keep doing the Celtics. We already introduced the topic.
Hold on. Yo, you are stupid.
Oh,
Did I get a blind rank?
It's off the screen. Lock in blind ranking.
It's because I'm feeling
Oh
like
my
I'm
God.
definitely a little toasty for sure. So you guys just don't want to talk about Celtics and do the blind ranking after it because I had it. I just forgot about
What is
it.
the theme of the blind ranking?
It's just Eastern Conference players.
All right, I'm here.
Let's just do it. Let's just lock in.
My fault, y'all. I was
No. I'm glad you did that. It was
we go.
hilarious.
So blindly ranking Eastern Conference players in the 21st century. So these are all players
21st
that
century.
played in the East.
Got it.
Since
You guys know what the
2000.
21st century is, right?
Yes.
I'm looking at Joel.
And I want to add this
You
note.
clarified once you said 2000s, or was it you that said 2000s?
One of
I don't
us
think
said it,
anyone
but
said
we-
2000.
No one
I
said
I
it.
think
No,
I
he
said
did.
it.
He did. He
Oh,
did.
okay.
I want to also say this. It could be a player that's played in the West and the East, but it only matters how he played in the East.
Okay.
So think about that. Keep that in tune.
Noted.
First player up.
Shaq.
Damian Lillard.
6.
Shaq is dumb funny.
5.
5 or 6. Legit. He was
I think
mad
this
inefficient.
could be 6.
But he was still put up like it was a bad Dame season, but it was a good NBA season.
D Millie's
You know
gonna
what I mean?
watch this and he's gonna be mad tight at us for putting Dame
I
at
think
6. So
no
you know
way
what?
he could be 6.
Well, Riv just said how he played in the East.
That's why I say
last
6.
last year wasn't a good Dame year, but I mean he was an all-star.
But
like,
I
he was
even
a,
think
It
D
only
Mills-
matters for last
D
year.
Mills would come up here and say he was not nearly as good as he anticipated.
he wasn't terrible.
No, he's not. But I'm assuming we get good players.
Are we
I
going
would say
5 or
5.
6?
I would say 5. I would say 6.
All right, listen.
I would say 5.
I can compromise. But I'm leaning on 6. So what are we doing, Joel?
Let's go 6.
Real.
All right, so 6 is Dame. Next name up, Brandon Jennings.
We already fucked.
Yeah, I mean
5.
It's just Brandon Jennings
5.
5.
Brandon Jennings.
That's why I was.
That's
trying
on
to tell
me.
y'all,
That's on
man.
me.
No, it
That's on
just
me.
sucks. He's probably just gonna mention point guards.
Next name up, Joe Johnson. You see when you talk too
Okay.
fast?
Wait,
He's a
I don't
guard.
hate- I don't hate 3.
3?
I don't hate 3.
You're
I mean,
on
with
to
the way
something here.
the
You're on to
standings
something
going, could
here.
be 2.
Low key.
Could be 2.
ISO Joe was cold.
No, 3.
3?
3.
All right. I'm
I mean,
cool with that.
it's Brandon Jennings
Oh,
to Dame. That's I'm just trying to get a gauge of the players we could
Joe?
get.
I mean 3? I'm sorry.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate 2.
I think sometimes you got to get aggressive.
Next
with these.
name up, Paul George.
Okay. In the East, so we're talking Pacers.
Just
2.
Pacers.
I can hear that.
Like
and
Pete
I'm
Paul-
fine
yeah.
with that.
Yeah,
I agree.
2.
Question: do we contemplate 1?
That's a
It's a
good
conversation.
point.
It's
a
that's
good
what I'm
point.
saying.
It's
It's
a
a
great
conversation.
point.
Here you go.
It's a
contemplated.
conversation, but what if we get Giannis? What if we get LeBron?
Let me start by saying LeBron would
Don't
not
do
get
this. I hate when he does that.
Nope, because LeBron is just is
I was not expecting LeBron to be on this list.
What if we get Embiid?
It's a.
I think 2 is firm because I think there's definitely a handful of players
He
that
just
could be
gave me
better.
Brandon Jennings and Joe Johnson. That's what's blowing mine. So I'm thinking 2. Fair. Let's do 2.
2.
2. Fuck.
Next name up, Ray Allen.
Okay, 3.
No,
That's all we have.
No.
right?
No, you have 4 and 1.
4. Oh, okay.
Fucking Joe Johnson's.
I'm not gonna lie. I would go
He
1.
better than low key.
would go 1.
Milwaukee, Boston.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah.
What he did in Milwaukee, he made the conference finals and he
Holds
lost
weight.
to AI.
Yeah.
But
Weight.
that year, 25 points per game. Ray Allen.
Read
He
my
was.
tweet.
I'm gonna be honest.
I mean,
Ray
I've
Allen
always
is
been hip to
probably a
Ray
better
Allen. What are you
player
talking
all time. Ray Allen, Paul George. I'm bugging for saying Ray Allen.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, it is.
But it's
Ray
a conversation.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's firm. We can't put him 4.
I love
Please
yeah,
God,
no.
mediocre.
And he had a game-winning shot with the Heat.
Yes.
I mean, he has multiple
And he had-
moments in the East.
And he has a 50 ball in the playoffs. Come on.
You can talk yourself into Ray Allen 1.
Yes.
Here we go.
Come on, please.
So you have Damian Lillard sitting pretty at 6. Brandon Jennings honing in at
Fuck
5.
you for that one.
Number 4 is open. You have 3, Joe Johnson. Sitting at 2 is PG. Number 1 is Ray Allen.
we're gonna get a
So the
dog.
4th spot is going to be Paul Pierce.
Not great. Not great.
At 1 or 4, you were fucked either way.
This is one of our worst ones. This is one of our worst ones.
Dame at 6 was nuts.
Dame at 6. It would have been 5.
Could argue 4.
Of last season, Paul Pierce. No, I'm taking Paul
I
Pierce
was thinking
over
Joe
him.
Johnson. I think even last
Facts,
year,
Joe Johnson was high.
Can still be better.
But I don't know,
than
Atlanta Joe Johnson was really good.
was- yeah.
tough.
He was.
And they consistently made the playoffs.
And the
every
Brooklyn
year.
Joe Johnson, not
And also
bad.
only one
I'm
year of
thinking just
Dame.
straight
It's
Atlanta,
like
please.
that doesn't move me much.
I would
It's
have
one
still
year
went with
of
Joe
Dame,
Johnson.
You know?
Dame is
He hasn't
dead
done
5.
anything in the East.
I mean, Brandon Jennings was just an obscure name.
I gotta add
was.
obscure names.
Yeah.
It makes it funnier.
Brandon Jennings blew mine. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck. All right, whatever.
All-star, though.
He was
He
one-time
was.
All-Star. Okay, now on to the Boston Celtics. So, John, get ready with
We're
the lower
back, man.
third.
Lower thirds.
Vegas right now has them at 58.5 wins.
Deserved.
Dehls, I'll let you get the floor first with the Boston Celtics. Just
10-minute glaze fest.
what you want to talk about with them, previewing them for this upcoming season. Any take you have for this year? What is it?
My take for the Celtics is they're going back
Running
to back.
back?
They're running back to back. I mean, I almost think that Porzingis getting these first 3 or 4 months off, being
went
able to
from
rest
60%
to
to
probably
12%.
January, February. Hopefully he could stay healthy after that because the wear and tear won't be as bad. That's just me trying to spin it as a positive. I mean, what's there to say about the Celtics, right? This team that just won the championship. I think Joe Mazzulla has done a fantastic job. You got Tatum Brown. I mean, we know what this team is, right? I think the only question mark you have for the regular season is with Porzingis out, which of these bigs are going to step up? You have Xavier Tillman, you have Luke Cornett, a lot of people like Neemias Queta as well as like a kind of reserve type of big. But it's who's going to be second in line, I guess, because they don't play Al on back-to-back nights. Even when he does play in the regular season, they're not going to play more than like 25 minutes. So which of those backup bigs are gonna step up? Other than that, though, I mean, this is a loaded roster, great head coach, and they're as clear as any of these previous NBA champions, Denver, everyone else. They're as clear to me than anyone that'd be able to repeat.
This is a glaze fest right here.
And it's fair. And it's
Yeah, John
understandable.
Mo.
And I would do it too if I was a fan of the Boston Celtics. The lone question for the Boston Celtics, you addressed it. How do they look with Kristaps Porzingis out? So most likely after December. Or best case scenario, you get him at December. We saw that obviously without him, it really didn't matter too much. But that's playoff basketball when Al Horford can go out there and give you extended minutes. You have him, Xavier Tillman. Not the worst thing if you run Tillman, I guess, but end of the day,
For regular season, I'm more than comfortable.
I agree. I think in the regular season, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But come playoff time, you need Kristaps Porzingis to start ramping up and get ready for that time. The Boston Celtics are going to be one of the best teams in the league, arguably the best team in the league once again. Having them as repeats is fair. They're really a well-rounded team. Have 2 top 15
jumper's
players.
Gonna come back for Tatum. We're going.
If the jumper comes back for Jason Tatum, we're having him back in conversations with some of the best in the world.
I don't care.
I'll be honest, you need that. If he shoots 34%
Tatum
from 3 this
is just-
season,
He's
he's done.
Tatum
Dehls,
is just,
But you still can win a chip.
Yeah, we can.
Dehls, I'm here to tell you the truth.
Tell me the truth.
It's very hard to repeat in the NBA. When the Nuggets won the championship, we all thought there's no team that can beat them, and they ended up losing
Choking.
in the second round, and they did choke to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were up 3-2 in that
come back
series.
from
20 points.
You look at how the Celtics made the NBA Finals last year. It was one of the easiest runs in NBA history based off the opponent's strength.
What about
and
in the
all
finals?
the
Something
bad
injuries
about that.
What about the
that
finals
they,
matchup?
that they
He's
had?
right.
What about the final? I don't
Something
remember.
bad
So
about to
Dehls.
happen.
I don't remember your prediction.
Oh, yeah.
Who'd you take in the finals?
I took the winning team
What?
that won in the conference finals in the West.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Dehls, I'm here to tell you the truth. As a friend, I've told you the truth.
You need help,
when
man.
you guys were up
Don't
2
bring up
games to
this-
0.
Don't bring up this Warriors shit.
When we were at the bar, and
First of all, it was 2-1.
we was tipsy, Dehls. I said, Dehls, I'm sorry, my brother. So I'm here to tell you the truth
What'd
one
you tell
more
me
time.
last year, though? You
I'm
told me
here
the
to-
truth last year. I'm sure you didn't lie to me last year. As my friend, you wouldn't lie to me.
This is the truth I'm gonna tell you this year. I'm afraid the Boston Celtics are
Running it
2-peating.
back.
And I think this is one of those Jason Tatum years where he has the best season of his career. I think he's gonna be MVP this year. That's my.
I said that every
I don't.
season.
I just first of
His
all,
jumper
I don't believe you.
sucks.
Now,
I don't believe you
Like
either.
actually, not a word coming out of your mouth do I believe.
If he
you.
shoots
only-
34%, he's not MVP.
The only way Jason Tatum doesn't win the MVP is if voters don't want to recognize what he's doing because of the team he plays on. I think that's the only thing that can stop him.
fair.
He also has to be efficient.
Agreed.
But based off the run that he had last year, listen, I think Jason Tatum was underwhelming. I don't care how many graphics I see that he's one of these 6 players to do this, and that. We all have eyeballs. We all saw what we saw. Jason Tatum was underwhelming for his standards. But the thing about Jason Tatum is that he's in a position to where he's on a team that is so stacked that they can two-peat. And he has a chance to redeem himself on this playoff run and really play well. And I think after all the things he went through, getting benched by Team USA, I think it's going to motivate him even more. Though those type of things, I think for a player like Jason Tatum, he's going to take very seriously. He's going to take with disrespect. And I think he comes into this season a different player. If those things don't happen, if his jumper doesn't come back, I still think the Celtics can win just because they already showed it last year, even though I do think this year the path should be tougher if teams are healthy, like the Sixers, the Knicks,
None
and
of
the
them can
Bucks.
beat us.
But Jason
Knicks.
Tatum,
Nah.
I think he's in for the biggest year of his career thus far. And last year was a year about the Celtics as a team just coming together and being selfless. I think now that they have won a championship,
Time to get
that
selfish.
pressure is off your shoulders. And now Tatum can be a little bit more selfish this year now that he won a championship.
Also,
and he
I
can
don't
average
think,
more points.
I don't think Tatum was underwhelming. I just didn't think he shot well. But go on, Riff.
I disagree on one point that you said. I don't think the pressure is off his shoulders.
What they gonna say now?
Yeah, I don't think they're off. I think
That shit's hard, man. I still go back to it.
I think internally he still has those doubts. You know, he still sees the disrespecting all the fans, talk about how he still can't do this, how people still don't believe in him, or how they talk about how the team was stacked, easy run like you mentioned. I do think he still has something he got to prove. He still feels like he wants to be in those top 5, top 3 conversations in his mind. If that's how you feel, that's something you got to prove. You got to show us, even though we don't think he could do it. You started doing it mentally. Even before Denver, though, the Lakers, first round, Golden State, second round. The Bucks were second round, if I'm not mistaken, after they won the chip. A lot of these teams just don't have the same firepower, or there's a new team on the block, or another team, they get figured out, they lose people and stuff like that. With Boston, they kind of bring back the same core 7, 8 guys that won the championship.
They bring back everybody.
Yeah, they're all young.
And Lonnie Walker.
Oh, you guys signed him?
That was a
Exhibit
cute
10.
pickup.
It's not like a 1-year deal. It's like a training
he's
camp
cool.
deal.
Like, he's cool. He's a nice little
Very
eighth man
cute.
addition. But Boston's bringing their seven
might not crack a
guys
rotation.
back. KP being hurt probably only messes up with the 58.5 over, but
They can still hit that.
That's what I'm
without
saying. They can still run the table, win 55 to 58 games without KP. So adding KP healthy is like 65 wins. They're just that good. So Boston, really, we ain't got shit to talk about. We know where they're gonna be this year. It's just about hopefully they can be healthy.
Thank God they got the championship, man. Because imagine they don't win a championship, what this conversation is right now, heading into the year.
You wouldn't be here.
No, I don't think I'd survive, first of all, because that means it couldn't happen. Dallas was never going to beat us. But it's thinking how crazy, how different this conversation could have been if the Celtics didn't win the championship. It's you're breaking up the Jays. It's Mazzulla make or break year. Everything changes, and instead everything is set in stone. Go ahead.
Who did the championship help the most, and why is it Joe Mazzulla?
Mazzulla or JB? Jaylen Brown?
Joe Mazzulla, I feel like, is now being loved more than a lot of coaches.
They just,
quotes, too.
they just had a poll come out. I forgot who did it. Was it CB? It was someone. Mazzulla's ranked as like the 14th best head coach, 13th best head coach.
Still,
His quotes are fire.
His quotes are fire, but I also think there's a lot of coaches, both in, like, we talk about football too, like there's some coaches who are X and O's and there's some who are just like leaders, right? I think Mazzulla does a great job of both. That his basketball mind for the modern day basketball, he understands what he needs his guys to do, but also he's able to connect with all of these players, right? Like he was able to bring out the best in Derek White, who's who breaks out. You see Jason Tatum these last couple of years as a post-up player has been one of the more efficient players. Porzingis as well.
You think he's the best coach in the league?
No, I mean Spo's got it, but like I think Mazzulla outside of Spo,
Top
I
7?
think he could go top 7 for sure, top 5 type.
I didn't want to say top 5 because I know 5. There's like Popovich or Mazzulla.
I mean, if you
We
want
have
to
to
say
leave
Pop, that's
Popovich off
fine.
this conversation.
That's why-
Popovich would have won 70 games with this roster.
It's just the Spurs are, and there's just such a bad team. It's
What if
like,
they shot a lot of mid-range shots?
I promise you, the shit didn't matter. Pop
You think so? I think it does matter a lot.
Pop is different.
I actually think that if they shot a lot of mid-range shots, it's a completely different
No,
story.
bro. First of all, I don't think they're gonna shoot a shit ton of mid-range shots. Second of all, like I just don't think Pop is gonna lose with like. I really think those top guys, like you mentioned, top 7, top 8 dudes, can definitely win the chip with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Popovich, I mean, he's solidified. It doesn't matter what he does. Your question, short term, Joe Mazzulla and Jaylen Brown, this championship without a doubt helped Jason Tatum the most. It solidified. It solidified his legacy. It doesn't really matter.
Solidified?
Like right now, everything he does moving forward is just cherry on
Where's
top.
his Larry Bird
what he's
trophy?
doing.
Cherry on top.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
100%. 100%. I mean,
It's Bill
now
Russell
from an outsider's
so?
from an
What was the
outsider's
statement said? I
perspective,
apologize.
said that it's helped
everything
Tatum the
moving
most.
forward is a cherry on top. When you look at Jason Tatum, he's already a multiple-time All-NBA team performer, multiple-time first-team performer. He's just going to continue to stack those up, and he's going to probably be one of the 5 best regular season performers in the league, which means that he's going to stack up those first teams.
Agreed.
He's already an NBA champion. This is not the same analogy because Steph Curry's different and he won an MVP with the Warriors. But he didn't win Finals MVP, and it wasn't until that he won Finals MVP to where it really solidified everything that he's done. With Jason Tatum moving forward, all he has to do now is win Finals MVP and go on a run, and he has the opportunity to do it. Now with
agree.
Steph Curry, it's a different story.
Well, if he wins Finals MVP, now we're talking about him with the all-time greats.
Not really.
If Tatum would have won Finals MVP last year, because it was close. Like I forgot what the vote was.
Well,
It was in
he
a
also
couple
has to
votes.
perform well.
But if Tatum won the Finals MVP last year, is it different? I don't think it's
we
different.
talked about Anthony Edwards when you guys laughed at when I said he finished as a top 20 player ever. And I think that's in the cards. It's definitely in the cards. Minnesota, help my boy out, build a better roster around him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Tatum is on trajectory to be a top 20 player all time.
I don't know.
He needs to get multiple championships to do that, probably.
Because
He just needs to become a
Is he on a
multiple-time
trajectory to be better than Kawhi?
you need MVPs.
All NBA performer.
He needs an MVP at
You
least.
need MVPs.
Trajectory to be better than Kawhi? Yes.
Just with hardware.
You look
and
at where
everything.
you look
Kawhi
at where
doesn't
they
have
are
a
in their
shit ton of-
careers at the same age.
but
it's
But
not
I
even
think
close.
player for player, like Kawhi, that Toronto run, Tatum hasn't touched that.
He hasn't.
No, he
hasn't
hasn't.
touched that.
We're talking about trajectory. When you look at what
But
both players have
all-time
done at
defender.
their age,
Kawhi's an
The only thing
all-time
that's hurting
defender.
Kawhi is he doesn't have the consistent, healthy seasons
That's the
to
issue.
back up his.
Because when you're doing
resume.
all-time rankings, you're taking in the championships, the All-NBA.
Yeah, like as a player, you're
peak
right.
for peak. Yeah, Kawhi. I mean, I don't think, but the fact, I don't think it's cherry on top going forward. I think right now where we sit, Tatum 26, JB 27, the whole team signed. I think most people are expecting at least one more championship.
this is a 3-year window that they got.
Do you
They've
have more
signed these
Paul
players.
Pierce all time right now?
Tatum?
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't.
I'm gonna be honest. It's hard.
But
to,
trajectory,
to,
I
it's
think he
hard
could
to
be.
say
No, I
that.
think easily
It's
he
hard
would
to
be
say
trajectory.
no. It's hard to say no because Paul Pierce has multiple great moments. He was a Finals MVP,
That's what I think.
and I think
Paul
he
Pierce is
deserved
on
that
the low
too.
spectrum of like all time
You,
greats.
you are right, but at the same time, Paul Pierce doesn't even have as many All NBA first teams as Jason Tatum.
I agree.
Jason Tatum already has
Plays with
more.
LeBron. You know, it's like, but that's what I'm saying. You know, you like you think it's even if it's 60-40, 50-50, whatever. The conversation is close, and if you can have that conversation, I don't know if I can say it's a cherry on top because Paul Pierce, great player, but he's in the low spectrum of all time great players. That's
And
just who
Jason
he is.
Tatum's there now. So if you're looking at the next 8 years, how much further can he get to?
He needs to get at least one. He needs to
You need
get
to find
one final.
because
He
even
needs
with
a
Steph,
run, though.
Steph got his MVPs. Steph got the ring, but he didn't have the Finals MVP. And you mentioned the ring when he won Finals MVP. That was when people were like, okay, he's stamped. So if he had to do all of that, I don't know if Tatum just getting one ring.
Honestly,
would stamp him.
Tatum just needs one run where he's
Correct.
averaging
Yes.
28 to 30 on good efficiency and signed and sealed. That's
One is
it.
tough.
Here's the thing. Curry was stamped by that, and I do think that Tatum still needs that shining moment to be stamped by the fans and the basketball community. But within the basketball players,
He was stamped before the ring.
Kevin Durant already has stamped Jason Tatum as one of the young greats that's coming up.
Yeah.
Steph Curry was already stamped. Just to the basketball
took him
community,
first in the All-Star
it's-
draft.
It's stamped. Those runs stamped them.
They respect each other differently than how we would view like in the media and stuff. They respect each other before they win all that extra shit.
Of course, because they're on the court actually doing it.
And even with Jason Tatum not winning the conference finals MVP or the finals MVP, especially in the conference finals, because in the finals, I think it was fair to give it to Jaylen Brown 100%. He played better earlier in the series. Jason Tatum in the conference finals, I thought he got snubbed. I thought he should have won conference finals MVP in the conference finals.
He was 30, 10, and 5. I think he averaged 30, 10,
Yeah, but
and 6.
I don't even care about conference MVP. It's like
well,
a new
finals
award.
MVP matters more 100%.
Yeah,
but I
so-
think Jason Tatum's on that trajectory, and with all the backlash that he's getting, athletes need something to lean on to motivate them every single year.
Remember that game one against the Pacers? He scored 10 in overtime, and you're like, it was free throws? Or in the fourth quarter, whatever
that,
it was.
that wasn't the game that moved me at all.
It was the
honestly.
fourth quarter. He
Fourth
was kind of
quarter,
poop.
Yeah, facts.
Because
Overtime.
JB saved legacies.
He missed like every shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but
Jaylen
then in
Brown.
overtime, he secured the W.
I
But
know.
Jaylen Brown,
It's a
They
legend.
left
Legend,
him wide
bro.
open, and then he had like fucking Andrew Nemhard on him guarding him. I mean,
but he hit a
whatever,
three.
whatever.
He clanked the clutch three, then he made the next three.
I still will say I wasn't moved by that overtime, but what he did after that, he played much better.
He was OD in that overtime.
And Edwards does that. You're saying it's a top 10 moment of all time.
Were you moved by that overtime?
Finals?
Do you remember that overtime?
I really don't. Right now.
Game 1 versus the Pacers.
JB shot. That
John,
game.
you remember that overtime?
That was that game?
Yeah.
Damn. It was a good overtime.
It's
What
because
is-
when you have that moment, just supersedes everything. As
really
it
did.
should.
I mean,
That
Shooting
was-
over the top
Yeah,
of
it really-
Pascal.
I mean, that's one of the
Didn't
best
care
shots
what
I've ever
happened
seen.
before any of that.
Yeah.
Let's get John's take on this. John, what do you think about that overtime?
You're talking about the Celtics
he
Pacers,
didn't hear
correct?
Game
one
one,
was-
yes.
That
Yeah,
was Tatum mostly just getting fouls. I think six of his
Yeah,
8
they
points
couldn't
were at the
fucking
charity
guard him.
stripe.
Sorry.
He did draw 2 of them by driving though, Joel. So you gotta give him credit for
That's what I
attacking the
did to you,
paint
Joe.
and creating advantages. Riff,
Yo.
I'm calling for vengeance.
You
Just
keep
remember,
saying that. I'm
just
with
remember, we got a game plan for you. We got a scouting report. You don't got a scouting report for us. Let's know that.
I got a scout report
Yo,
for you.
this text was insane.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
Well, I
you
couldn't
can't
say
say
it.
it.
I
No.
couldn't say it. I couldn't say that out loud.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the one of Riv saying that he's putting his socks on, and John asked.
That was also crazy.
Okay,
No,
John,
but
put up the
Riv said
Knicks
it first.
lower third. We're gonna talk about the Knicks next.
We can't talk about every team for 30 minutes.
Their line is 53.5 wins this year. The New York Knicks, and I think the question for them, the biggest question is, did they do enough this offseason to put them over the top? That's the burning question for them.
Over the top, as in best team in the East.
They can win the East.
Can
That's
they
the
beat
question.
Boston? Yeah. That's like
Nice and dry, man.
can they beat Boston?
It's solely dependent on what version of Julius Randle we get, and I hate to simplify it that much. But of course, what you did by bringing in Mikal to pair with OG, you have one of, if not top two, best wing duo defensive, best wing duo, best. What you know
Defensive
what I mean?
wing duo.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
English.
Christ.
But what it comes down to is when you're playing against. No, I couldn't speak. Sometimes it happens. What it comes down to when you're playing against the Boston Celtics, you're gonna keep laughing.
No,
because
it's all right. I did some dumb shit yesterday. I was filling out the thing for the DMV. It gave me street address.
This guy almost got us popped.
Oh my god.
Nah, I just had to renew my registration, but the cop was like,
pulled up on
I
us.
could tow your car right now. I was like, bro, let's relax.
He pulled up on us, stopped us, said some nonsense, drove around, and he stopped again. I could pull you over right now.
Yeah,
bro.
For what?
But we had just pulled into the apartment because
Yeah.
my registration, it expired at the beginning of the
How
year.
did
I
he
didn't
know?
realize. You could just look at my license plate.
Ah.
Yeah. But anyway, I was filling out the
being a dick.
He was,
being
but
a
because I pulled into the apartment, he's like, "Do you live here?" I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "All right, you could go." Like,
He
but you know, I
asked
can tell
me.
you right now. But he was kind of mean, dick, whatever. But anyway, the DMV, I was filling out some shit, and it said like state address, and I thought it said country, and I put USA. Remember that? She said county. I was like, "Yo, I feel so sad."
All right, you do make me feel a little bit better. But regardless, what it comes down to when you're playing the Boston Celtics is you do need some level of interior presence. And with the New York Knicks, a lot of what they're trying to do is build out the exterior. Of course, you have the spacing with Brunson, DiVincenzo, Mikal, OG, but you need that dominating presence, and that can be Julius Randle, especially with KP being banged up. He's a great rim protector when he is healthy, but if there is a way to get to Boston, is work inside out. And Julius Randle becomes that X factor. Even still, though, with Mitchell Robinson being the lone true center on the team that you trust, Precious, I guess. I just don't know if they have what it takes to beat Boston where Boston stands right now. I think they're the best test. I think they're the toughest competition. But even still, they are just the more advanced, the more talented Boston Celtics.
I think
Sorry, Dehls.
Or excuse me,
To go?
you know what I mean.
you're Knicks guy.
Can't
Go
speak
ahead.
English right now.
I glazed the Celtics long enough.
Yeah, thank you, Dehls. I think the Knicks are the toughest team in the Eastern Conference. Just from how they play, with the heart that they play, the passion that they play, I think we are a tough out for any team because we always give more effort. That's just our identity. And I do love the moves that we made this offseason, getting Mikal Bridges. The only thing that I feel uneasy about is how much we gave up to get Mikal Bridges, because we essentially put all of our assets into this basket and said, this is the move that puts us over the top. And if you look throughout NBA history, usually those moves are made for the Kevin Durants of the world. All due respect to Mikal Bridges, he's not on that level. So Mikal Bridges does fit our identity because he's a great defender. And with OG, they're going to make Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's life hell, and any other opposing offensive backcourt or wing duo that we got to face in the East. But the way that the Knicks have constructed this roster, our defense, our offense playing through Jalen Brunson and just having shooters galore around him, it gives us a great schematical chance against the Boston Celtics. The thing that I'm most concerned about coming into this year from our roster is we don't have a backup center. Mitchell Robinson's our only center, and he can get hurt at the worst times. And the backups are Precious Achiuwa and then Jericho Sims.
Randall at times too.
Precious wasn't terrible last season when he had to step in, but him
In the
being
playoffs.
backup,
But
of course.
in the playoffs.
But him
Rely
being
on
your
him.
backup, that's tough.
So I was excited about the potential prospect of us trading for Walker Kessler. There were some rumors about that floating around. And if we get a Walker Kessler, I think that definitely
Hell yeah.
solidifies our
Turn me
backup
up.
big spot, even if he cannot do as much things as he was hyped up to do after his rookie season. He's still a great drop coverage big. I think that can help us. But the Knicks are going to be a tough out. And in order to beat a team like Boston, everybody has to play well. You mentioned Julius Randle. Like, everything has to go right. but we gave ourselves a chance to win this year.
Agreed.
And I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, that's what you said I'm most nervous about is the rim protection, the big position, because you're relying so much on Mitchell Robinson. And when he's been on the court, he's, been one of the better players in terms of rebounding, rim protection. But what we've seen over these last couple of years is you can't rely on that, right? Having Hartenstein break out the way he did last season was so huge. And it was unfortunate you couldn't just pay up because of the CBA rules and everything, and he was able to get a bigger contract from the Thunder. But that's the biggest question, I think, going into a series against Boston, because you have the perimeter defenders in McHale and OG to be able to disrupt the Jays. But it's one thing to guard them on the perimeter. If you don't have someone on that back end that can deter shots, they're gonna have an easier time, obviously, than if you had someone at a higher level. But everything else with the Knicks, it's hard not to love what this team has. You have a superstar in Jalen Brunson. You have the perfect role players. You have a team that's built that believes in the coaching staff, believes in Tibbs and his system and just his culture overall. So what you said to start your monologue was perfect. This is the toughest team in the NBA. We saw that time after time again. Shout out to Josh Hart, maybe toughest player in the league right now, the way he's able to step up when needed. And the fact that you get to move him and Dante to the bench because you brought in all of this talent. This Knicks team is loaded. Like, this is the best Knicks team I have seen in my life. It's just once you get to that next stage where it's the Knicks are a nice story, Brunson's breaking out. Now we're at the point where there is legit expectations that conference finals is what I think I'm expecting from this Knicks team. If you face Boston in the second round, you get bounced, whatever. But if you're going up against the Bucks, the Sixers, I think you should be able to beat these teams. So this is the first year in a long time, I feel like, where I could say that about the Knicks, but that's how loaded their roster is right now. Only concern is just that center position with Mitchell Robinson.
I think my concern is the backup spot, but also just that second creator. Like, who's going to be the guy that goes into the playoffs? And is it going to be Randall? Is it going to be Mikal Bridges? Who's it going to be that guy that kind of steps up for them when teams start to figure out it's just Brunson and everybody else? And I think what the beauty is, or Boston is, they have multiple ball handlers, multiple guys who can make plays. I think for the Knicks, they kind of lack that in a sense where it's just last year because Randall went down. It's a lot of Brunson reliant. You have Dante, you have Mikal Bridges. I expect him to probably be that third guy because he's the most comfortable out of him and OG to have the ball. And it's just about, do you have multiple creators, multiple guys that can, run an offense, get into the rim, make pass outs, just get guys open and make plays for these other shooters. I do think the Knicks, the backup spot is going to be a problem, but I think they'll play more small ball in the playoffs. I think you'll see a lot of, Jalen Brunson, Dante, the wings, and Julius Randle, or even Josh Hart at the 4, and they go Mikal, OG, Hart, Randle, then Brunson, just to get more defensive size out there, just to get more athleticism out there, and just long wings. I think you could see a lot of that. So I don't mind the backup spot because I think Precious is fine for the regular season. But in the playoffs, I think that's going to be where it's not going to bother them as much. Because in the East, you do have Giannis, you do have Embiid, but, I think those guys are going to give you problems anyways. So I think with this Knicks team, it's really just about Randall. If Randall can be that second guy, if he can, level up in the playoffs, I think that's where, they'll be able to give Boston their challenge.
And 53.5 wins, I think, is
it's
kind
fair.
of disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
I only say that where they won
Because
50 last year, and they are kind of injury prone.
Yeah.
OG gets hurt, Randall gets hurt, Mitch gets hurt a lot.
Randall is unfortunate because before last or 2 years ago when he hurt his ankle right before the Cavaliers series, he's pretty much been one of the more reliable stars in the league. Last 2 seasons, getting banged up kind of sucks.
And with OG, I mean, we were on
Another
pace for
one.
a 60-win team.
My God,
Yeah.
stacked.
I think if we're healthy, this is
21-3 with them?
Yeah,
Was that the
crazy.
stat?
I think we should be higher. But
I'm
we're
not
the second
saying
best team in the East.
it's not a smash to me, but it can definitely be a 54, 55 win team.
So right now it's the Celtics Knicks. That's the 1 and 2 projected seedings from Vegas. Number 3 is the Sixers, 52.5 wins.
That makes sense.
I don't trust Philly at all, though. I don't trust Philly at all.
They were on pace for 60 last year with Embiid.
And more so, I'm not talking about the regular season.
Oh, okay,
I'm
playoffs.
more so just talking about holistically,
Yeah.
their team entirely. Their bench is Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, and Andre Drummond.
And Caleb. Oh, Caleb started.
Caleb's starting.
Oh.
And Kelly Oubre starting.
Jared McCain
I know
drafted
Oubre's
as well.
starting.
He might
Kelly
he-
starting stamped.
Kelly and PG would
He
be
should
the
be.
wings.
Yeah,
All right.
Caleb Martin.
I mean, think realistically, bringing Eric off the bench, that's a pretty good spark, especially as a
I think
3-point shooter.
he's terrible as like your 7th guy.
All I care about is terrible as 7th.
Who?
all
Eric
right,
Gordon, you
whatever.
said?
I
He's
guess
pretty
Eric
bad.
Gordon, as a shooter, he's not pretty bad.
I'm saying like a player.
He just makes
he's not
really
good.
dumb plays.
Caleb Martin's also starting.
Yeah.
He's in. Yeah.
That's
have
how
a four.
thin this team
Yeah,
is.
they don't have a four.
And that's my biggest
So
concern
wait,
with
but
them.
then how is Kelly also going to start the two?
You can start
you have
3 wings.
Maxey, Oubre, Paul George, Caleb, and Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Then
you
Lowry.
start
Eric
3
Gordon.
wings.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just sound awful?
Well, Kelly was really good last season.
I like
really
Kelly
good
and
last
PG
year.
if they had a 4. If they had a 4, I would love them.
Why doesn't
to.
PG run the 4?
PG's too skinny to run the 4?
Kelly
He
to
probably
me
is
feels
gonna
more
run
like
the
a 6-man.
Who?
Kelly
Kelly.
Kelly
Oubre.
Oubre.
Yeah, but I don't
he's-
mind him starting.
If he's your worst starter, I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah. I think Caleb Martin being your worst starter is the problem here.
Yeah.
No offense to him, but he's more of a
He's a
6 man.
role player,
Yeah,
yes.
he's a
He's
solid.
off the
Like if he
bench.
was my 6th, 7th, I'm cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, Caleb, come in, we'll get buckets, play some aggressive defense. But him starting at the 4 or 3, however they want to do it, and then your backups are Lowry and Eric Gordon. With respect to Lowry, he still can do some things, but they're older. You know, they're much less reliable. Their body's a little bit
You
more.
think Jared
you know,
McCain can,
He's gonna have to.
like day one?
He has.
There are
he's gonna
Contribute
four
to this
players that they have that are young that maybe can.
Oh, they got
bring
Drummond
something.
though.
Ricky Council.
That
They
was
do.
huge.
That's a
He's
great
a great
backup.
backup.
Great backup. So
Ricky
they're good there.
Council, Jared McCain, like Dehls
Ricky's good,
mentioned,
too.
Adam Bonner. He's a rookie, but he's a hustle player, and they probably need some of that energy. And then the last player, I believe, is KJ Martin.
I like Ricky Council. I really do. I really like him. I think he should get a lot of minutes off the bench.
I think this is what we saw. Just you go aggressive and get Paul George, which I think is the right move. But this is kind of how the rest of the roster is built. It's not too dissimilar to what the Suns did a couple of years ago. You go and get Bradley Beal, this huge contract, and then you have to fill out your other positions with players that are not disrespectful, but you know the leftovers more or less, right? You're not able to
It
go
does
out
feel like
and,
the Suns.
and pay top dollars for really good role players.
Except they have a player that's their third best player is much better than Bradley Beal.
That's exactly what my thought process would be.
Way
Also, what you saw from the Sixers in the playoffs versus the Knicks. Maxey elevates. Joel Embiid, this was the first time we saw him beat Joel Embiid in the playoffs.
He was fucked up.
And he was playing through Bell's palsy, and he was balling the fuck out. You bring in Paul George, Caleb Martin, and Kelly Oubre. Bringing Kelly Oubre back to me was huge because he played very well for them down the stretch of that season. They needed him to, especially while Tobias was playing horrendously. And Kelly Oubre did definitely rise to that occasion. Jared McCain, you needed some spacing. He can provide that off the bench. Eric Gordon, spacing, can provide that off the bench. And we always talk about it being a luxury having two bigs. They have one of the best in the game in Joel Embiid, and then one of the best backups, arguably the best backup, off the top of my head at least, and Andre
Nas
Drummond.
Reed, bro.
That counts. So for sure. So I look at it in that perspective. I just think the one thing that they do lack yet is that 4 and just the wing position in general, especially off the bench. But if you run PG at the 4, you have Drummond come in off the bench and just play regular spot minutes. Caleb and Kelly can hold that down. You interchange whether it's Eric Gordon, Jared McCain. You mentioned Ricky Council too.
This sounds really bad.
You're twisting it as positive as you can.
You are doing an amazing
But when
job.
you have Maxey, PG, and Embiid,
You're great in the starting lineup.
but that's really what you need offensively. Defensively, this isn't a bad defensive
No, I
team.
think they'll be solid.
Has Andre Drummond ever played in the playoffs?
Yes, with the Lakers.
How was he?
Well, it started off okay, and then it didn't.
I don't think he.
How bad did it get?
Well, we lost the next 4 games after.
Well, let's
or
be
3
honest. In
games
the
after.
playoffs, Drummond's not playing more than like 10 minutes.
He'll have to with this team.
No,
And if
he's just
Drummond's
coming
giving
in
you,
with Embiid out.
but if Drummond's
That's what
giving
I'm
you
thinking.
15,
forgot.
And B
yeah,
would def
would
have
be.
to play like
Like
38
he's
minutes.
Well,
but in the
That's-
playoffs, that's-
superstars
yeah.
usually tend to play.
If he's
38.
giving you 14, 15 minutes, let's say at most, but still you're not really dropping off in rebounds. You're obviously
You won't
having
drop off in rebounds.
at
But
all.
defensively, that's the big drop off.
He was good last year.
He gets abused on defense.
He was good last year as a defensive rim protector, big. He was solid.
I'm more so talking about having to step up and guard screen actions.
Oh, he's probably gonna be fucked in that for life. You know, it's just not his vibe. But I think Embiid's gonna play 38, 39, probably 40 minutes. Maxey's gonna play 38, 39, probably 40. PG's probably gonna be the lone one playing 35 to 38 because he's old. So realistically, you just need 4 more guys.
Is Caleb and Kelly Oubre as your 2 extras that bad?
I like Caleb.
I think
Kelly.
it's amongst one of the worst of.
I
all
don't
the
want them to be
contenders.
my
But when you
starters.
have the big 3 of Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid, that's amazing.
And 2 of those guys are playoff droppers.
Who?
Embiid and Paul George.
But last we saw from what have you done for me lately? Last I saw from Embiid while he was banged
There's
up.
no reason Embiid's games should drop in the playoffs. And what we saw last year, like, I just
That
I
gives
get it. He
grace
has
to
been-
us for all the years that he has come up
If you're,
short.
if you're telling me,
That's unfair. He's
I
been
tell you,
unhealthy.
Embiid's going into the playoffs this
He's
year
unhealthy last
100% healthy. You think
And
he's
he
going to
balled,
drop off?
though.
That's you see what
That's
I'm
a positive to me.
Like Julius Randle's drop off, I was like, okay, he could take some difficult shots. You know, it's a lot of ISO stuff. Embiid, well, obviously he gets his post up touches and ISO in. He's just unstoppable. He
Embiid
shouldn't
is never
drop off.
100% healthy.
I know, but I'm
But
saying
even still, last year while he was banged up, he still balled out.
if
I
he's
think I-
relatively healthy, I think he should play
At
well.
this point, we have to kind of work under the assumption that Embiid's not going to be 100% healthy in the playoffs.
All right, but if he plays like he did last season, then we should be optimistic.
Then they lose a series in 7 games against a better team
Why though?
because Embiid played the
Are we
best
not
he could.
expecting Maxey
and Maxey
upgrade?
averaged
And
30.
Paul
They added Paul
George?
George. Changes some things. He's
Yeah,
good.
but the depth around them, I think, has gotten much worse. I think this team is talented, but
They just need
I'm
that
not
one extra
expecting
wing.
much from them.
I think they need
so
one
what
extra wing.
talent this offseason they lost Tobias Harris? What other pieces did they miss?
Thank
for this
God.
team?
Thank God. If you're a Sixers fan, you'd be
upgraded
screaming and
the
kicking.
number
Because you
three.
because I get it, the depth isn't great, but it's
Anthony
not
Melton
like
left.
okay.
He been long, right?
No, he left this past
Oh, yeah,
year.
tweet.
Yeah, this offseason.
If
I'm
they would've
remembering
kept
who the
D'Anthony, that'd
players
been cool.
on the roster were.
Shake was 2 years ago.
Tyrese and Oubre started because I remember Oubre guarded
Yes.
Jalen Brunson. Joel Embiid, of course. Tobias Harris, of course.
Paul
and of
Reed
course,
is gone.
Yeah,
Paul
Paul
Reed.
Reed.
Okay.
That's huge. And I think even Andre Drummond coming in to fill in Paul Reed's place, I think that's a lateral move. I think Paul
that's
Reed.
okay.
Yeah, Paul Reed might be a little bit better than him right
Maybe,
now.
but overall,
Drummond
it's a good
played
backup.
relatively well
I
last season.
just
though.
don't think the pieces they lost. I think adding Paul George makes
Sounds
up
like
for
three
that
of them.
and some.
Yeah, they lost pieces, but they also lost in the first round. And even with adding in Paul George, I think if they go up against the better
They lost
teams
Buddy
in the East,
Hield.
I don't think they win.
Buddy Hield. I'm just looking at Game
They can
7
beat
who was
Milwaukee.
playing.
he
Buddy
was
Hield,
non-existent in the playoffs.
Campaign. That's a fact.
They can beat Milwaukee.
They can beat Milwaukee.
Batum left, right?
They've always
Yes.
played well against.
Batum
Milwaukee.
was a huge loss, I think.
Yeah, I mean he had some good games. This Game 7, he had fucking 16
To me, though,
points
the
at
ceiling
5-7.
for the Sixers, if all goes well, is the ECF.
But you're telling me you lose Batum, Campaign, and Hield, who played, like you said, a couple of games, to the depth they have now, but you have Paul George. I think that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough.
The come playoff time, though, you're making fair points.
Like if they would have lost like a KCP like Denver did, I'd be like, all right, like that's a big loss.
You
But
trust
these dudes,
Philadelphia more than Denver?
I trust Denver more.
no,
I
it's
trust
Denver.
Denver more than a lot of teams. But I'm more positive on their. I'm more in belief on their bench than others.
Denver's.
OD. You're a Julian Strother guy.
I am actually.
I respect that.
Yeah,
And Payne
I'm
Watson.
definitely TBD.
I've
Payne
been
Wa-
there.
I was gonna say it's not
Payne
Western
Watson,
Conference.
I'm
But
I need to see him
I'm
be
there
better
for
as a
Payne
shooter.
Watson.
I'm projecting more with them.
as a defender though. I feel like
He's OD.
right now he's just like the floor is so high.
He's mad good.
I think like going up against New York, it's going to be tough because your role players are going to be so much better. But I don't think Milwaukee's role players outside of Bobby Portis really is a big drop off. And then other teams like the Cavs role players aren't a big drop. I think Philly's better than them. Then you got Indiana. I think Philly's better than them. They do. Indiana does have better role players though for sure.
Easily.
But I think Philly has the clear better star power.
Agreed.
So you love that matchup with Philly. It's just like
And Tyrese can go out there and
yeah,
outperform
Tyrese can ball
Tyrese.
with any guard in the East in the playoffs. So
Sorry, there.
I think
How's the bar?
Milwaukee and New York, I'm not saying Philly is better than them, but I think they can hang and potentially win those series.
Now, the next team is the Bucks, and their win total right now is at 50.5 wins.
Perfect.
And I think this is,
That's a steal.
right
Perfect
now,
line.
the most
Under it.
disrespected team in the East. 50.5 wins for a team that has Giannis, that has Dame,
Yep.
that still has Middleton as a third best player, Brooke Lopez, Torian Prince is right now the projected starting lineup according to ESPN's depth chart. And then off the bench, you have Gary Trent Jr. and Bobby Portis. I think the Bucks, this is the team that I have the most faith in to actually knock off the Celtics in the East.
More than the Knicks.
It's similar, but the
we
Bucks
talking
have
about? Oh, the
Giannis,
Bucks.
and that's the difference.
I mean,
for
I
me.
And
think
the issue and the difference for me there is Giannis 2 seasons in a row has been incapable of playing fully in that first
the
round.
whole team, bro. Chris Middleton
Facts.
gets banged up.
They all get
Brooke
hurt.
Lopez
And I love
is
Giannis.
older. It's. I mean, I think the Bucks. You could talk yourself into it because the ceiling's there for them because you have Giannis and Dame and some really nice pieces. But I mean, if we're gonna say Joel Embiid's not gonna be 100% healthy, it's hard to rely because multiple guys. I mean, you're relying on Chris Middleton. Of course, you're relying on Giannis. Dame, is he able to
Am I crazy
perform
for
in
thinking
year
Philly's
two?
ceiling is right there in Milwaukee?
Agreed.
I think it's very similar.
I think
the
the
difference
3 teams, the
between-
Knicks, the Sixers, and the Bucks all have the exact same ceiling.
Oh, okay.
I think the difference between the Bucks and the Sixers is that there are health concerns with the Bucks, and we've seen that over the past 2 seasons, 100%. But with the Sixers, it's not just health. It's also the performance of their top players. I know what Giannis is going to give me if he's in the playoffs, if he's healthy playing in the playoffs. He's not going to drop off like Joel Embiid. Giannis is a proven playoff performer.
We've had so many conversations. Stop. Even the game that they lost against Miami, Game 5, he dropped 40 and 20. Don't do that.
You know what? I'm gonna say that.
Thank
for
you.
another
Thank
day.
you. Jesus Christ.
You think Giannis is a playoff dropper?
Nothing.
I just want your take on it.
I think he's not a playoff dropper, but I don't think he's all the way proven in the playoffs.
50 points in a closing.
Why isn't
game.
Giannis proven in the playoffs?
I don't think he's all the way proven. I still think he struggles mightily against elite defenses in the playoffs, like mightily.
Which example are you pointing to?
Well, he's played Miami a shit ton of times. Even against Boston, I don't think he was. He was great. He was good. Great.
He averaged 35.
His counting numbers with Giannis.
The efficiency was kind of nasty for Giannis.
I think it was 35, 13, and 6.
His counting numbers are ridiculous. I'm not even gonna. If you bring up counting numbers and you're sticking with it, fine. I can't even argue.
And that game 6, although Tatum put together probably the best game of his career,
his efficiency is nuts though, and sometimes teams can still put him in a box a little bit. And he does make trendy, really bad turnovers late in games when he plays great defenses. But I'm gonna save that conversation.
What defense in the East right now that's a contender can stop Giannis?
Stop? You can't really stop him.
No,
contain Giannis.
Philly.
You think so?
Boston
I think Embiid can do it. I think I was telling you this. What was I telling you this other day?
I don't. Not me.
No, it was you. I was telling you, Embiid, like guarding Giannis.
Yes, we did speak about this.
I think he can do it.
Because I don't think the Knicks can do it with Mitchell Robinson.
I don't think so.
I don't think the Boston Celtics can do it.
Can I tell you the only team that can legitimately do it?
has given Giannis fits over the years.
OD, he has.
They just wasn't he wasn't great efficiently wise when they played them.
A team that we
that was
haven't
the
talked
stat. He had
about.
35, 10, whatever, but he was not
Well,
shooting
you did
well.
kind of talk about
Also, all his
Miami.
teammates around him shot
But I
terrible
don't think
from
they're gonna-
3.
But yeah, Miami
I'm just saying
gives
just
them
Giannis,
insane-
though.
If they're healthy,
Yes.
Yeah.
Having
Miami.
Al
But I
and you have
think-
Porzingis to help, that's
But I also
tough.
think how you guard a player matters about the supporting cast. Like, for example,
his
you're
gravity's
not
insane.
sending the same defensive attention at Jason Tatum. Not only because Giannis, of course, is more dominant than Tatum, but also because Tatum has teammates around him that can make you pay from 3.
Well, you got Dame if Middleton's healthy.
I know this year. That's why I'm higher on the Bucks this year because this year the Bucks
for sure.
actually
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
spacing to where you can't guard Giannis in a similar way that you used to guard him before.
Giannis's gravity is.
But it also
otherworldly.
depends on the
I'm
closing lineup. Like, are you closing with Taurean Prince? Are you closing with Gary Trent?
Let's
Are
say
you
the closing lineup
with
is Dame, Gary Trent or Prince, Middleton, Giannis, and then Portis.
You still have to just live or die by them hitting threes and stopping Giannis.
100%.
You have to. You have to.
100%. But that is a group I feel confident
But
in.
what are we? What level of
Porter
Dame
shoot
are we
from three
getting?
last year?
Are we getting Dame, or are we getting last year's Dame?
I think this year's
Should
game
be
will
better.
be much better.
But we had a whole 82 games. Of course, not 82 because, of course, they got injured and whatever. But regardless, they had a full season of Dame getting accustomed to a role. And I was here.
40%,
I was
goddamn.
waiting for it to inevitably
catch and
happen.
shoot.
But it never did with the two of them together on the court.
And Dame is a playoff
It's not
dropper.
bad
And
for
when-
reference.
After the first round, you're right.
Yes.
But when Giannis goes down, that series versus the Pacers, we saw Dame finally get back to that level. Is that showing me that you can only play as the main guy? But when you play with Giannis, you have to understand you're not going to be.
Dame has to adjust this year. And last year, I don't think
didn't.
they did a good job playing
He's dealing with
together
a lot,
at
though, so
all.
we'll give him the
He
grace.
was. That's fair.
I
That's a
will
good
say,
point.
whenever Giannis did go out, Dame showed vintage Dame in the first round versus the Pacers. Dame was playing electric before he got hurt. And Middleton in that series also averaged 25 plus points per game.
Sure.
So I think that gives us optimism that their best two players outside of Giannis can still play at a really high level. And if Dame is just getting catch and shoot opportunities, I think he can hit those shots. And that's somebody that you still have to respect off the catch 100%.
So they're your second most trustworthy team in the
tell you
East.
Fully healthy?
That's
Yes.
why I can't. No, I
Yes.
specified specifically trustworthy because
like
their
I'm in the glass.
their team is untrustworthy when it comes to health.
I'll say
Because they're starting four of Dame, Giannis,
It's 50-50.
Middleton, and I would kind of throw Brook in there too because he is older.
it's 50-50 because the Knicks last year, their season ended because of health.
Cook.
So, like the Knicks also proved to me that last year our season could fall off the rails because of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And also in the playoffs, we saw OG get hurt. Julius Randle didn't play. in the history of Tom Thibodeau with running down his teams, although it's more a narrative than fact with the Knicks, because I think with the Knicks, he has been keeping the players' minutes lower. That is a concern with Tom Thibodeau's history. Is this a year that we see things just not go well for us when it comes to health, just based off how Tom Thibodeau coaches? So I think the concern with injuries is there with the Knicks as well. And I don't think the Knicks' ceiling is that of the Bucks, because let's say if we get the best version of Giannis, we get the best version of Dame,
Hey, remote's not near me.
and we get the best version of them playing together, I don't know how you can trust any other duo outside of Boston Celtics more than Giannis and Dame with their supporting.
By the way,
cast.
Rivers asking for Bobby Porter's catch and shoot. I looked it up. It was 40%.
I looked it up for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
And Gary Trent shot
amazing.
Gary Trent, I believe, shot
57
above
on catch and shoot,
57% from 3 on catch and shoot threes.
How long have I been telling you guys about Gary Trent?
He's a great role player.
You're projecting a lot with Dame.
He averaged 26 last
You
year.
wouldn't call it a lot.
No, I'm talking about in the playoffs.
Okay.
You wanted to put him 6 on
Projecting,
this
you're
list we just
projecting
did.
a shit ton with Dame.
Well, with Dame as the first option, I don't trust him. As a second option, playing next to Giannis, I trust him more. And that's kind of an
You still
interesting.
don't know what that you're projecting.
That's an interesting conversation because Damian Lillard, if they match up with the Boston Celtics, we feel like
He struggles.
he's going to struggle because of Drew Holiday and Derek
Good
White.
matchup.
Well, everybody. He's gonna try to look. You can't he's just bigger wings.
But I
like,
feel the same way with Jalen Brunson in that series.
I do too. I've always.
I think Jalen Brunson could perform better.
He's going to put
But
up numbers.
he's played
but I don't know
well.
how- Yeah,
He's played well
I think
objectively against the Celtics.
in the playoffs,
You-
though,
playoffs is different.
You
Playoffs
could
is
put
different.
Jalen Brown on Dame.
And I saw
you could put
Brunson
Drew Holiday on
struggle
Chris
against Neesmith,
Yeah.
and I saw him struggle against Oubre too. Because just bigger athletic
then
wings,
you saw him
it gave him problems. Of course,
wake
Jalen
up.
Brunson was exceptional.
My Lord have mercy.
He takes a shit
I
ton
think
of
there
shots.
some
is
stinkers in the
projection with
playoffs.
Dame,
Pretty
but
efficient though.
Takes a lot of shots.
Dame,
He had to, too.
he's a 26 point per game scorer playing off one of the best players in the world. If he can figure it out, I think it's not a crazy projection. It's reasonable. And I do think that against the Sixers, I mean, Tyrese Maxey can't guard Dame, Paul George. I mean,
I think Maxey's is a better playoff. Oh wait, I think Maxey can perform better than Dame in the playoffs, and I think that shouldn't be a hot take.
No.
maybe
think
at this point in his career. But we seen Dame
I think he can outplay
in the
him very
playoffs.
easily.
Paul George guard him, and Dame gave him fits.
Some
yeah,
years
for
ago.
sure,
Some years ago.
for sure.
Yeah, and they're both probably worse now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Paul George, yeah.
But I think
Tyrese
Maxey
Maxey could go
is
bar for
very
bar.
much a guy who can go in there and outplay Dame easily.
Yeah, but are they going to outplay Giannis and Dame and Middleton
Well,
and
if
what they
Max-
have?
If
I
you
don't
tell me
think so.
Giannis is healthy, you have to tell me Embiid's healthy.
I
They both
think
have,
PG can
think, question
outplay
marks
Chris
right now.
Middleton as a
I was
third
going to say, and
option.
I think that there's a chance Embiid can outplay Giannis. There's a chance.
In the playoffs, I got to see it first.
I
I will
agree.
not say that.
What coach do you trust more?
Hey, that's a great question.
Doc.
Oh my God. You're serious.
You're a funny guy.
Doc. Next team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, 40.5 wins. I also felt like this was very low
is
for them.
low.
48 and a half?
48 and a half.
They dealt with some injuries last year.
But,
You
you know,
said 40 or 48?
48 and a half.
Okay, that's what I was like.
40
what?
would have been
I don't know if I believe in them just smashing this win total that much, but what I will say is that Kenny Atkinson going to coach them now with Jared Allen, former player that he coached. Evan Mobley, I think, will take an uptick in threes made. I think this is the year things go right for Cleveland. I think Darius Garland gets back to his all-star level form.
Need it.
I think Evan Mobley takes a noticeable jump in his offensive game, specifically as a shooter.
Need it.
I'm in on the Cavaliers this year.
All right.
The Cavaliers got a lot of talent, and I think Kenny Atkinson is going to get the most of that team.
Here's the thing. You can be cautiously optimistic because all the things that you said are possible. They are possible. Garland can get back to form. I think that that's number one for me. Over anything else, number one is Darius Garland being aggressive, getting downhill, and finishing out the basket like we have seen him do in his career. Getting injured last season definitely derailed that, and you kind of saw a little bit of hesitancy in his game in that regard. I think he is the number one most essential part outside of Donovan. We know he's going to be Donovan Mitchell. So long as he's healthy, he's going to be one of the best players in the game. But it's got to be on Garland because that is your second creator. That is your second ball handler. It's essential that he gets to where he once was. I look at Mobley, and can that happen? Sure. But it's one of those that I need to wait and see. He hasn't shown it to me on a consistent enough basis. If he goes out there and is consistently a floor spacer for the Cleveland Cavaliers, now we're really talking about an exciting trio. But until it happens, I'm going to wait and see.
35% from three last year.
Got better towards the end.
That's
Took
why
more
it's
attempts. Took more attempts towards the end.
it's the
But
end
you
of the
love-
season.
you love-
Agreed.
you
That's
love
why.
April.
Agreed. Which
You
is
love-
why I say cautiously optimistic, because they do have the talent. They have really good personnel. They're one of the teams though that are basically running back the same lineup.
Just new
The
coach.
same team with just new ideas and a new mindset with Kenny Atkinson trying to make their players just act differently, especially Evan Mobley, and hopefully Garland being more aggressive and just aggressive like he once was early in his career. But outside of that, it's you have to be optimistic because there's some really good talent on this team. They just have to step up to the plate.
Rev, is this the year of Darius Garland?
Huh?
Is this the year of Darius Garland?
Yeah, I'm gonna trust in the 2 years I've seen prior to last year.
It's fair to me to say I have to wait and see though,
Sure,
but for him and Mobley,
There's a lot of players you put over Darius Garland at point guard.
I think
I'm
more-
fine with that.
I think more
LaMelo
for-
or Garland. Look me straight in the eyes.
They both struggle with injury.
Look me in the eyes. Who are you
LaMelo
taking?
more so.
I think LaMelo has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, because he's tall.
But that's not the one I'm talking about. You said DeJounte Murray over Garland.
Coming into
I'm
the year
cool.
or this year?
Yeah, coming in.
That's crazy.
I'm cool.
I just-
DeJounte balled last season.
He did.
I think Evan Mobley is more of the cautious card because you've never seen it.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure,
with
that
Garland,
is.
you've seen it. You've seen it twice. You've seen it with D Mitch, without D Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
So that should give you a little bit more. And it didn't just happen because he couldn't work with D Mitch. No, it happened because he got hit in the face and he just couldn't see anymore.
It's a fact.
So I think like that injury was
Face
pretty
crazy.
big for them. So
He's right.
Yeah, no, and it was bad. So and I'd never ever try to make people not see that last year was a hard year to watch for Darius Garland because my God, it was very hard for me to watch. He just didn't look like the same player. But I believe in this team to a degree. You know, I think they're a really good team. I think they do get slept on. I think when people love Orlando, love Indiana, these young up and coming teams, they like to just skip over Cleveland. I think Cleveland is still rightfully should be in those conversations. You still have D Mitch, the best player out of those teams. And I think D Mitch showed last year that he still has that in him. He still can play at a high level against great defenses. And even on a bad injury can still give you those runts. But I think him, DG, dealt with some injuries last year. It's cause for concern, so I guess why the number is so low. Mobley missed some time too. And like you mentioned before, they're bringing the whole team back. They're essentially running it back. They got one draft pick and a new head coach, Tyson. They brought him in. They got Kenny Atkinson. So this is really a big internal upgrade, internal improvements this offseason going into training camp. Everybody has to get better. Max Strus has to get better. Isaac just came back. He has to get better. Mobley, Jared Allen, like Donovan Mitchell, even him, everybody has to get better. Kenny Atkinson has to be better. So I think I'm all in with you. Same thing, same vibe, because I do love this team. I'm a ride by this team. And I think this team, even with D Mitch leading the charge, is still a really fucking good team.
For sure.
Yeah, Isaac Okoro, I was just looking up his catch and shoot. 40% in the regular season, but under 30 in the playoffs.
Hey, listen, man.
He really fell over. the
We're
playoffs.
trying to get somewhere. We got the regular season locked
Hey,
in.
he just got a nice little bag, you know,
Nice
and
little
they
cute
were
bag,
Cleveland for a
nothing
couple
crazy.
Yo,
more years.
Pat Will or Isaac Okoro?
Ooh. Pat got
You can
I think
sit on
Pat got
that.
overpaid.
Sit on that.
I'll say that.
Oh no, wildly.
But I think
Shout out to
Pat's
Pat,
better.
though. I think
Okay.
Pat's better too.
Because Pat's. Oh, wait.
Sit on it.
Pat can attack
I'm
closeouts.
saying it twice.
Pat can attack closeouts.
Should I say it a third?
Who's
Say it one more time.
Pat can attack closeouts. He's still a solid shooter.
You don't have to
Isaac
make a
can-
decision right
He
now.
can attack closeouts, but does he?
Could sit on
Slightly
that.
when they let him.
I feel like he just lacks the drive to go to the basket.
The staff didn't want him doing too much offensively. Doesn't give him too many
It's the
opportunities.
Bulls. Why?
Here we go. Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Brother, you asked me. I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
Cleveland, I think more than anything, it's just Riv mentioned internal improvement. I think it's just about internal growth too, right? Because when we go into
Wow.
this season, when we go into this season, it's tough to put them in that upper echelon team when you have Boston, I think, kind of in a tier of their own. But then those next three teams that we just discussed, it's difficult for me to put Cleveland in that tier, and I think that's the tier they're trying to break into, right? They're trying to be in the mix with Milwaukee and Sixers and, of course, the New York Knicks. So, for me, it's really wondering how they can improve and get to that level. But I think, like you guys said, I feel like the pieces are there for them to get to it. We're just relying on them to bounce back like Darius Garland from a couple of seasons ago and Mobley to get that next leap, because it doesn't seem like right now, like, we've been rumoring the Brandon Ingram trade for months, for basically the last year. Jared's going to be staying there, so it doesn't seem like there's going to be another piece inserted. Like the Knicks got OG and then McHale, and Milwaukee goes and trades for Dame. Like, I don't think there's going to be another move down the line for this team. I think if anything, it's going to go the opposite if it doesn't work. But I think you have to be hopeful that you have a new head coach there.
That's interesting.
And even last season, like, we talked about the first couple of games against the Celtics when you had Donovan Mitchell, like you matched up decently against them. I don't think they would have beat them in a 7-game series.
Nice little 6 game.
It would have been a nice, because you have pieces like you have 2 bigs, you have multiple guys that create that you can make things difficult for other teams, but it's just, can you do it series after series? Because you're going to have to be at minimum 2, but realistically probably 3 if you're not a top 4 seed when it comes to those top dogs in the Eastern Conference. But if they're able to get these players back playing together and playing more than anything as a team where they can, feed off each other's skill sets, they could be dangerous. We just haven't seen that.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because last year, Philly and the Knicks ended up matching up in the first round. So they didn't even have to see them at all. And they ended up playing Boston, like you mentioned.
And they played the Magic. It was a 7-game series.
Jared
Donovan
Allen missed
Mitchell
3
had
games.
to take off.
Please, always remember that.
Playoff.
Oh, I didn't even bring that shit up. You guys are gonna win regardless. But last summer it just was funny because everybody made moves, and I feel like the only moves Cleveland made was trying to keep everybody together. You saw every rumor: Garland, the Pelicans, Jared Allen getting moved, D. Mitch isn't signing the extension, and then when everything didn't happen, you saw the whole Cavs team tweet like we're here, family, this, that, and the third. So internal growth and improvement. We're here.
It means that they think that the coaching is gonna be a huge upgrade because
At
I
least for
don't
1
think
year.
they were on the same page with JB Bickerstaff.
that bad of a coach?
He just wasn't.
He didn't
for them.
vibe with the players. I think Donovan Mitchell, not that he spoke on
had
it,
a
but
say.
I definitely read
He
a
likes
lot of articles
offensive-minded coaches.
about how they were never really on the same page. An article from The Athletic, so I trust the sourcing. Rev, you're very high on Darius Garland still.
Love my guy.
You are? Okay. This is a Would You Rather Darius Garland edition. First name up, DeJounte Murray.
I'm taking Garland.
Give me DeJounte.
I would take Garland.
Emmanuel Quickly.
Okay, you're not going to answer?
No, that's just for y'all.
You got to answer. Do your job.
I'm taking Darius Garland.
Here we go.
I'm taking Garland over quickly.
I'll take Garland too.
I'll take Garland. But it's close.
Okay, I was trying to get you. I was trying to get you right there.
I like quickly.
Yeah,
I like
he played
him.
really well in Toronto.
Alex Caruso.
Come on. What are we doing?
What team am I?
We're starting a team. This is just would you rather. I'm
It's
taking
what's
Garland.
Would You Rather.
I'm taking Garland.
Alex Russo.
Oh,
You're right, John?
John. Are you okay?
Bro was passed.
What?
Okay, stop. I forget this guy.
What?
I
You're
haven't felt
bugging.
like that lately.
Oh, he fell off?
I haven't heard him. He's never
What do
been
you think
around.
about that, though?
I think if you're starting a team, you take Garland 30 times out of 30
Caruso's
times.
just he's
It's
a perfect
what I
role
rather.
player,
I think
I
a
can
role
put him on every
player,
team and he'll
Caruso's
be amazing.
Yeah, of course. But if we have 30 NBA teams, no team is taking Caruso.
You think that if Darius Garland was on OKC, how does that look like?
It's not as seamless.
Not team, definitely a work in progress.
It'd be a little weird.
Caruso is fits like a
clunky.
glove.
Yeah.
Fits
he
like a
doesn't-
glove.
yeah,
He
doesn't
fits.
get the
He
ball.
fits with them
I know he fits with
because they
them.
already have.
I think Garland's the better player, definitely better offensive player, but Caruso gives you a lot more. I'd still take Garland.
Darius Garland's the better player.
Okay.
He's the better player.
Okay.
Like,
I don't
especially
disagree
his
with that,
all-star
but who would I
form.
rather on my
Caruso's
team?
a better
Give me
glue
Caruso.
guy.
Exactly.
He's a glue guy.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Okay, Jalen Suggs.
I'm taking Garland.
Garland.
Yeah.
It's the same
Garland.
glue guy category right here.
Although Suggs,
So, I mean,
he's
yeah,
a
what
great
he gives you
fringe
defensively,
elite defender, has the ratchet now.
Good shooter.
That's a TBD.
he's just not a natural. I don't know if he's a natural point guard.
Suggs is a TBD. That's not wrong to say. Amazing elite defender.
You're taking role players over a low end all-star.
Is Jalen Suggs solidified role player?
Right now, he's.
I feel like he's a key part to what the Magic are building.
He's a high level role player.
KCP was a key part to what Denver built.
He's not a
He is a
star.
role player.
He's
So
not
are
a
we
star.
talking DG's a role player?
No, I think DG's a low end all-star.
He is. He is.
Okay.
He is.
Anthony Simons.
Now this is a conversation, but I think I'd take DG still.
It's just hard.
The playmaking.
Simons puts up crazy numbers, but that Blazers team's been so bad. it's
Yeah,
hard to
I
really
can't look
take
at
it.
empty stats that strongly. Give me
I would
DG.
take Garland for right now, but Simons could be
I
better.
think Simon's amazing though.
Yeah, Simons great.
He's a great basketball player.
I'm a big Simons fan. I'm gonna
As
go
you
with
should.
Simons, and I've been a big fan, a Simons fan. Fred VanVleet.
I'm taking DG.
Damn, Fontana's on IR, John.
I did see it was a major injury. I wasn't sure if he was going to put on our
Who'd you say? Sorry.
Frederico.
Fred VanVleet.
Fredsky or DG?
Damn. I
I think I'll still
will.
take Garland.
Oof. Why is this one hard for me?
No, it's a conversation.
Joel,
Unless-
give your
You said
answer.
Garland?
I'm going
no,
with Darius
if it's a
Garland.
50-50, I'm going to take Garland always.
You said Garland?
I'm going with Garland.
I'm going to take Fred.
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, Kate.
Cade's a better player. Yeah.
Come on,
Free him.
Kate.
What?
Colin Sexton.
Oh, I take
Garland,
DG,
yeah.
but I understand.
Colin's a good basketball player too. I'll take DG.
And the last name is Derek White.
Derek White.
Derek White.
DG. DG.
Garland's a better
Player.
scorer.
Playmaker, it's not even close.
He's a good playmaker.
Yeah.
Derek White's a good player. But Garland's better.
No, playmaker's not even
it's
close.
not close.
That's
Defensively,
actually
Derek
the
White.
biggest
Not
gap.
close in whose favor?
And shooting.
As a playmaker?
Yeah.
No,
Garland's
Derek
a good
White.
shooter.
Derek White. He is. Derek White's a
What
great
the
3-point
fuck?
shooter.
Great catch.
DG.
He is.
Well, you said Derek White. Would you
pull-up.
rather?
No, I know.
he really?
The defense.
What my
is-
eyes tell me he is.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can lie with my
I
eyes.
don't,
too.
I don't know.
He said Derek White's a great pull-up. And I said, is he? He said, I don't know.
Just being honest, man.
You thought that was crazy?
What?
Derek White over Garland?
I understand it.
You think he overvalues role players too much?
I don't mind.
I get that tier of role players. I get it. You know, like I
When
do.
you
You're
get
not
Caruso?
when you're not a superstar, it's all right to do what I do.
I don't get Caruso because I think Derek White
Why?
can do a little bit of everything. Like he's like a jack of all trades.
So can
So
Caruso.
I get it. No, Caruso's not the same type of shooter Derek White is. Caruso's not the
shot
same.
40% last year.
Caruso's more of a connector.
You
He's
think
not
Alex
a real
Caruso's on the same
playmaker.
tier as Derek White as role players?
No.
Why is he
30%.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
He shouldn't be doing that.
45
I'll be
catch and
honest.
shoot. 45
That's a
catch and shoots carrying.
conversation. I think that Derek White's a better scorer for sure. Like
Then who?
pretty easily.
Caruso?
I think he's just a better player.
But the defensive
Caruso?
side, I'd taken Caruso.
Yeah, for
The
sure. But
question
Derek
is,
White's a
if
great.
Derek
like,
White
He
and
is.
Caruso
He
are on
handles the
same
ball
tier as
well.
role
Facts. Facts.
He's
I
just
think
like
Derek
you know,
White's
So that's
I
I
think
would
Derek White's
take
a better
Derek.
version.
I would take Derek.
That's
but-
why I understand him over DG. Derek White can do a lot of the little things, so I get that part. But for these other role players that are really elite at one thing and okay at everything else, no, I'm taking
And
Derek.
Derek
he's a
White was
really
getting
good shooter.
some all-star
No,
votes.
I'm not saying that
He was.
wasn't for.
I'm
Garland.
talking Caruso.
Oh yeah,
Derek
I-
White's
I-
a really
Derek
good
White's
shooter.
was
Low-end
the only real
all-star
year
now.
where he was elite. Huh?
Derek White's a low-end all-star now.
I understand why you would put him in there.
I'm not saying I'm necessarily. I'm
I
just saying
think
your
he
opinion.
would be the tier under.
Okay.
Which is the elite role players. I think that's where OG and them go in. He's right under it. But I understand if you put him as a low end. I do honestly get it.
The year after, when we were the number one defense, although it was 2.4 attempts, he shot 40%.
Don't care about that.
He shot 41% this year, shot
many percent?
36% last year, but he shot 41% this year on 5 attempts.
And last year was 36.
Last year was 36 on 2.3. So
Something
he
gives him
really
he's about
jumped.
37. Something would say he's like 37, 38. Okay.
This is Caruso.
Yeah.
I think with OKC that number is going to be just as good.
I mean, he'll have the open looks.
Yeah.
So
The Orlando
If he's
Magic
doing
right
Bulls,
now,
like-
they have a win total of 48.5. It's the same as the Cleveland Cavaliers. Did Orlando improve enough this offseason
to do what?
Win a playoff series.
It is
Yes.
solely their
Depends on what they
success,
play.
and I hate to say this, is solely on what Franz Wagner becomes. And that is unfair to him, but it's the truth. And I say that where this team needed one thing coming into the season: shooting. You only really brought in KCP, and I'll respect Tristan da Silva since you did bring him in, and he is a little bit of a floor spacer himself. But with how limited we saw Anthony Black last season, are we really going to expect in year one Tristan da Silva to get an extended amount of minutes? Franz Wagner shooting less than 30% or whatever, what was it, 28% from three last season simply cannot be the same. He needs to be in the 33 at the absolute floor. If it's not around that 33 to 36%, then I think that they're getting a little bit too overhyped because they didn't do enough in this offseason. Paolo's going to be amazing. I have no doubt about that. KCP is going to come in. He's going to do exactly what they wanted him to do. Jalen Suggs, he took a huge step in his game from the year prior to last season, especially as a three-point shooter. That's exactly what you needed from him. It's solely on Franz. What version of Franz are we going to get as a shooter, as a scorer?
I want to tell Magic fans this before I get into what I'm about to get into.
Phone? Sweet.
I think this team's future is very bright. I like their young pieces.
Something roots coming.
And even though the Magic fans are very mean to me on Twitter, it breaks my heart sometimes, I will say I like your team. What we did for the Pacers the other day on this podcast, where we said how many defenses are going to be better than the Magic's.
we're doing offense.
We're doing the reverse.
Let's do it.
How many offenses will be better than the Magic's this
According
year?
to John, Franz is going to be a 40% three-point shooter.
John, keep count.
40?
That's bullshit. That was completely fabricated.
John, keep count. Okay.
Never happened.
I'm going to have you, Dehls, and Riv
I'm here.
vote on it. Majority of the vote
Copy.
means the winner moves on. So, John, make sure to keep count.
I agree.
The Denver Nuggets.
John, pay attention.
Denver. Can we get through like these first like 8 just
Yes.
all bang bang bang?
Okay, the Grizzlies.
Oh, can we go through a
Yes.
few other easy
Grizzlies.
teams?
Yeah, go to the easy
I'm
side.
just going top to bottom in the West from the 2022 season. So
Grizzlies.
Why 2022?
it's weird. It's just easier for me to keep track.
Just it's okay. Grizzlies.
All right.
We're going to trust in John Moran here. We're
Okay.
gonna trust
All right.
in
I agree.
Derek.
I agree.
Let's
Thank you.
just-
Thank you.
Come on.
Kings,
Yes.
Kings.
the Suns,
Yes.
Suns.
the Clippers.
Yes. James Harden, 60 games. Kawhi, 60 games.
I think they'll have
yes.
better
Okay.
offense.
The Warriors,
Yes.
Warriors.
The Lakers.
Lakers.
Yes.
Yep.
The Timberwolves.
Yeah. Yes. And amen. I'll believe in it.
That's why I want to
And
get through.
Cap.
I want to get through the easy ones first, so we'd be like, all
Well,
right,
we can get the
14
thought out the
ones
way.
easy, but these
Is
are
this one
50-50.
easy?
I don't know if it's
No,
easy.
but I can give myself the grace for it.
Okay. It's
All right.
okay. All right.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
I mean,
go
you can both outvote
No.
me.
I mean, I would say if you asked me,
Like,
pick
just
one,
right now,
just
today,
pick one.
I'm
I'll
taking-
pick Minnesota, but I think that's a conversation.
Damn, y'all think Minnesota really is that terrible on offense?
No, I mean
They were at least a mediocre offense
They were.
last year.
I think when you crunch the game down, for sure we can have that more conversation. But in totality,
that's why I want to get through the
Minnesota-
easy ones first, so I can be
Okay.
like, there's no way there'll be a top 13
So can
offense.
we put that in
You're,
the maybe box?
you're gonna get your wish, Dehls.
Thank God.
John, put it in the maybe box. Don't count it in the tally just yet. The Bucks,
Yes.
Milwaukee.
Yep.
the Celtics,
So
Yes.
the Sixers,
Yep.
Sixers.
Yes.
the Cavaliers,
Yes.
Should.
Yeah.
the Knicks,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
the Indiana Pacers.
Yes.
Yes.
Easily.
Easily.
Okay, John, how many are we at right now?
3, 6, 9, 12, 14 teams.
Let's keep going.
14 teams. The Brooklyn Nets,
No.
Heavens no.
the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes. Yes, they will.
Maybe box.
Maybe.
Okay, put it in the maybe box, John.
Trey Young leads nothing but top 10.
It's in the maybe box.
Okay.
But it's in the
All
maybe
right.
box.
The Miami
Team's
Heat.
terrible.
Maybe box.
If they're
I
healthy,
would take the
yes.
Heat. I would take the Heat.
They're healthy, yes.
I got to vote it.
Yeah, he did. You did. The Raptors.
No.
Maybe. Yeah. No. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe.
Orlando is bad if they are not a better offense than Toronto.
What was Toronto
I
last
stand on
year?
that. I don't know.
Scotty, Emmanuel, RJ.
Fuck are we doing?
I'll take the Magic.
Oh
You got
my
outvoted,
goodness.
Bucko.
The Chicago Bulls.
No.
Are you kidding me?
The Charlotte Hornets.
Maybe. Maybe.
No.
No? You thought about
Bro.
Toronto.
No. I'm looking at last year's offensive ratings.
Bro,
Toronto was
LaMelo,
24. Magic was 22nd. Hornets were 28th.
LaMelo was
LaMelo
hurt.
didn't play.
I know.
Sorry. You're right. I'm sorry.
LaMelo's
You're getting
going to
outvoted.
play 70 games this
You're
year.
getting outvoted here. We're in the maybe box with it.
We are in the maybe box.
The Pelicans.
Yes.
Pels.
Pels.
Come on.
OKC.
Okay. So
Duh.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yes.
Utah.
Yo, that's a maybe.
Yeah. Will
That's a
Hardy.
maybe.
Will Hardy can move me. He moves
He moves me. Laurie's playing.
But did they add enough pieces to be better?
No.
They can have a
no.
high offense and a really
No.
shitty defense and just be bad for
No.
Jazz were the 18th best offense last year.
Bro, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's a maybe,
I
bro.
I
hate
also want to move
advanced stats.
Minnesota to yes. I want to move Minnesota to yes.
Okay.
Why? What number was Minnesota?
16.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in the middle of the pack.
We're really giving the Jazz, bro.
I said maybe. We could have a conversation.
All right.
Yeah, this isn't a better team. Just offense. Just
All right.
offense.
I
Just
know.
offense. The
All right.
Trailblazers.
No.
No.
I gotta vote it. But trust and believe. Shit was going. Never mind.
The Houston Rockets.
Maybe.
Maybe is right. Maybe is right.
The San Antonio Spurs.
Maybe. Chris Paul and Wemby.
You lost
And
me when you
Vassell,
started
of
with
course,
him.
but I only
You
mean
didn't have to
as
start
the
with him.
playmaker.
Maybe.
Jesus Christ.
I would
They
say-
don't-
Disrespect to Chris Paul.
I would say no.
Brother, I watched him
I would
for
say
80
no.
games,
But
bro.
bro, he's gonna actually start.
I would say no.
I said
Maybe.
maybe.
The Detroit Pistons.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'm just fucking.
Detroit Pistons.
Just respect you.
Okay, so John, what's the count right now? What's in the maybe
guarantee
box
you he fucked
and what's in the just
I would have
count in
fucked up
total?
too. There was a
You
lot
guys
going
have
on.
17 teams that are better, 6 maybes and 5 nos.
What are the maybes?
That's 29 teams, John.
Well,
That's 28 teams.
The dub, bro. 29th
20,
would be.
28 would be one off.
Yeah, that's 28.
who didn't we
17
say?
plus 6
Did I
plus
say the
5
Pelicans?
is 28.
You just say the Pels. Whatever.
What did
Regardless,
I
it's
just
one team.
say?
It's
You did
one
say the
team. I
Pels.
would have fucked it up too.
So John, what teams are in the maybe?
Minnesota, Atlanta, Charlotte, Utah, San Antonio.
Minnesota to yes.
I agree.
I'll move
I
Minnesota.
told you guys yes. So we can move. So that's 18. I want to move Houston to yes.
So Orlando's what, like the 20 ranked offense?
Yeah, I mean,
around there.
does KCP and just growth, hope Franz shoots better, assume Paolo is going to take
I'm
a bit
taking
of
the Magic
efficiency
over the
lead?
Rockets.
I'm still maybe. Rockets offense could be better.
Paulo's the best offensive player out of the two teams, with respect to Alperen.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Are they
don't
winning
hate
a
it.
playoff series this year?
Depends on who they play.
Should that
They're-
be
they're
the
probably gonna-
expectation?
If
Yes.
they play the Cavs again, they could beat them.
Can they beat
don't know.
any of the top 4 teams?
No.
Why
I think
are we,
they match up the best with the Pacers.
Why are we so confident they can beat the Cavs?
They won
They won
7 last year.
last
Jaron Allen missed 3. Does that not move anybody?
It does.
They have KCP now.
Facts.
Franz, if he improves his shooting, you could get there.
He's right.
God bless on that part.
And Paulo was fantastic last year too.
He was, but I'm saying Jared Allen missed a full, clean, comfortable 3
The
games.
last couple of seasons, we've seen the Cavaliers be injured.
In the playoffs? No.
Well, Mobley has been banged up. We've seen Garland be
played,
banged up.
Not 100%.
But they've gotten injured, is what I mean.
When did Garland get hurt?
Garland
In the playoffs?
last season.
He got hurt way
Facts,
before.
but didn't he also get hurt the year before that, if I'm not
When
mistaken?
he played the Knicks, no, I think he was just ass.
No, not in the playoffs. Just in general as the season has happened.
I don't remember.
John, look at that injury report.
Let me know, John, please.
Now, before he does that and he gives us the answer, we're about to talk about our 7th team in the East. All of these teams, it's important to note that at least between the 5th and 7th spot, only one game separates them in terms of Vegas projection. This next team is the Indiana Pacers at 7, and then the team after the Heat, there is a 3-game drop off from 47.5 to 44.5. We can talk about the Pacers first. A team that just made the Eastern Conference Finals is all the way down at 7, but it's in large part due to how they got there and what happened.
Do you think that's disrespectful?
I think it is a little bit. I think they
over-under?
should be 47.5. I think they should be in that 48.5 win range with the Cavaliers and the
they're one below.
Magic.
They're 1 win below.
Oh no, but they should have been the same. That's all I'm saying. They should have been the same.
How many games did they win last year?
How many?
Take a
games?
guess.
I'm
Someone.
gonna guess 46.
I'll say 47.
I'll say
No,
40,
Cavs won 47.
5.
45? 47. Bang.
It was 45
47 right on the
or
number.
47. Nice.
Unless, John, you looked it up. Yep. Okay. Oh, cheater.
So that's what they had last year, and they're projected at 47.5. So they're projected to improve this year. They just made the Eastern Conference Finals, and there's not a team that you can find me with better depth than the Pacers. The Pacers depth is
The
real.
Knicks.
Knicks depth is.
I
goes
think the
bar for
Pacers
bar.
depth is better.
No, because
Considering how good the bench players are for the
eight,
Knicks.
the first 8 are like very much widely
You've got
better.
Dante and
than,
Josh coming off the bench.
That's insane.
And Deuce.
You're right. I
That's
think
pretty
the
crazy.
difference in this was last year. I thought Pacers were much better because last year
Fair.
the Pacers, I thought they won that series because of their bench.
Also, you could argue Oklahoma.
Okay,
You can argue Golden State Warriors.
just talking about the.
Come on, bro.
But I look at the Pacers.
Think about it.
Their roster
Yeah, that's
from
a
their
take
best
1 to
player
10?
to the 10th best player. They got one of the deepest rosters in the league. Like there are some
They do,
guys that I
for
don't
sure.
even think are going to be
So there's really no
able
thought
to
here.
get consistent
No.
minutes.
No, not close.
With the
Stop.
Warriors,
Why
it's
not?
the Pacers
Depth.
easily.
No
Who's
one
the
cares
depth?
about them.
Who's the 3rd best player on the Warriors?
Buddy Hield.
No. Jonathan Kuminga.
Is
Okay.
Obi Toppin and him not like the same tier?
I'm asking you, do you guys think think's better?
Who?
Obi
Between
Toppin and
Jake-
Jonathan Kuminga.
I think Kuminga.
Give me Kuminga.
Who's the 3rd best player in Indiana?
Miles
Third best
Turner?
player on the starting lineup or just
Miles
the bench?
Turner.
Who's the 2nd best?
Pascal Siakam?
Okay. Just making sure. 3rd best. Okay. So 2nd, Pascal's better than
TJ
Draymond.
McConnell,
Oh,
Obi
yeah,
Toppin.
right now, at least.
TJ or Brandon or Pods.
Oh.
See, I'm
That's
trying to get somewhere here. I'm saying it's not
I'll
a
take
Benedict
TJ, but it's
Mathurin.
close. I
or
don't
Andrew
love,
Wiggins.
Mathurin.
yeah, I'm fucking dead.
You don't have a
what
backup
we've
big
seen the
like
last
them,
2
no.
years of
Isaiah
Wiggins?
Jackson.
Fair.
We don't.
Well, Neesmith?
He starts for them, but he's a role player.
Well, I'm just saying he's a role player.
Benedict Mathurin is coming back,
So I said
I think Wiggins is better.
but he's starting for you.
I don't know if he's starting.
the last 2 years of Wiggins.
Who's gonna
you could say he's
start?
Better.
Draymond, Davis, Steph. I think they're starting Pods. I don't know starting.
Or
the 3rd.
Buddy.
Or Buddy.
So Kuminga would start over Wiggins.
He did last year, some games.
He should.
Okay.
He should. He legitimately should.
It's just there's just with him and his lack of spacing, it's just a kind of.
All I'm
an
saying is,
issue.
it's not a crazy. When you really like think about it, it's really not like a terrible
Yeah,
concept.
So I
I
think
think
the
the
Lakers-
Pacers do have some of the
Good.
best depth
I
in the
could.
league.
Should I?
Did we say Nemhard?
I think our depth.
We
is
did
better
not
than
say
yours.
Nemhard.
Andrew Nemhard.
You're just your 2 stars, clear.
Oh, damn.
Ben Shepherd too.
Ben Sherber, what?
Ben Shepherd.
Do you have a match for Andrew Nemhard? No.
Pods.
Pods. But you've mentioned Pods like
Think-
4 times.
yeah,
I would put TJ with D'Anthony Mountain.
Who do you think is better between Nemhard and Pods? I think Nemhard.
I think it's close. I think like they're like the same.
Nemhard, what he showed us
Nemhard
his
is
score in the
getting
playoffs was crazy.
overrated. He's getting overrated.
I think he's better than Pods. I'm not saying he's a fucking.
I think
top
they're
10
really in the
point guard or
same
something,
vibe.
but
I think they're the same vibe.
Nemhard was awesome in the playoffs, fair,
Pods was pretty good in the regular season.
but Pods was really good.
Yeah, I just think Nemhard gives you some more scoring upside.
Andrew Nemhard is only
Possibly.
underrated when it comes to talking shit about Tyrese Halliburton.
Correct.
That's when
That's when we use
becomes
him
underrated.
as
But people are high on Andrew Nemhard. To be fair, I will say, just looking at the Pacers, Tyrese, Nemhard, Neesmith, Pascal, Miles Turner. Then off the bench, you have TJ, Obi Toppin, Benedict Mathurin,
Yep.
Isaiah Jackson,
Jarris.
Ben Shepherd, Jarris Walker.
What about
Wiseman.
Who's
James Wiseman's on the Pacers.
He's on. Oh shit, he is.
Yeah, just
What
I didn't
about
even realize.
Houston?
Depth wise, Cook.
Houston's got some real good
Really
depth.
deep team. Really deep team.
OKC.
I said OKC for sure. That's easy.
I think they're probably the best.
That's easy.
In terms of
Top
depth.
5 depth in the league.
Yeah, I'm just
Pacers.
saying. I just want to get a gauge. You know.
They have Tristan Newton.
Who?
The Pacers do.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Shout
And
out to Tristan.
James
Do we
Johnson's
think-
on their team.
What are we expecting, if anything, from Jarris Walker this year?
Play consistently.
That's
10
it.
to 10 minutes
That's
a night?
really all you want.
It's a start.
It's just so tough with the Pacers because once they brought back Obi Toppin,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to play Pacers. I did a franchise with the Pacers on 2K, and the same roster I had is what we're seeing right now. And I found it really difficult to put any minutes towards Jarris Walker.
can't.
There's just so many good players, and I get not losing Obi Toppin for nothing because you know he makes them better. I think Obi Toppin, if Jarris Walker wants to play, has to be involved in some sort of midseason trade, and they can open up a spot for him. But as it is right now, it's just locked in with Obi, TJ, Isaiah Jackson as your backup big, and then Ben Shepherd played really well. And you also have to include Benedict Mathurin into that. Yeah. Those are 5 players that they got to give minutes to even before they think about Jarris Walker.
I think if Jarris has to play one more year where he's kind of more reserved role, but then you have his last 2 years of his rookie contract, I think that's okay. If you go anything past this second year where he's going to his 3rd year and you still don't have a plan for him, I think that's concerning. But if he has to sit one more season, then you get 2 years to see what you really have. That gives you some time to either figure out what Jarris is, number one. I mean, he was killing it in the G League, so shout out to him, but it's the G League. And then whether you want to move on from a couple of these guys in front of him, or if a package comes up, because they have a lot of intriguing pieces, right? Like they have guys like Nembhard and Jarris Walker. I don't know how he's viewed around the league, but you would assume value-wise, cheaper contracts, like that's something that if you do have to go out and get a 3rd star or whoever might become available, you have another option there. But Jarris is kind of that one piece that, like I think Nembhard, I think he's a great player, but it's obvious like he just fits a role on this team, right? Like this is Tyrese's team. For Nembhard to be at his best, I feel like it's going to be difficult for him to play alongside or reach his max potential to play alongside Tyrese. But Jarris is another piece that maybe could fit in and kind of give you a different element to this team.
Best case scenario for the Pacers is that they just got to get bigger within their guards.
Oh.
Tyrese Halliburton, he's not a good defender. They need somebody. Andrew Nembhard tries on defense, but he's just too small to guard some of the best offensive players in the league. Obviously, future fantasy, this is not what's going to happen, but Mikal Bridges would have been perfect for this team. If you just put him next to Tyrese with Aaron Nesmith, I think it just increases your ceiling that much more, and then Nembhard comes off the bench. That's the type of move that they need to make. But I do think that between the Pacers, the Cavaliers, and the Magic, the Pacers are the most underrated team. I know that their run to
More
the
than the
ECF,
Cavs.
I do think so. I know that their run to the ECF was fluky. I'm not going to deny that. But I think this Pacers team has better depth, and I think that their best 2 stars can match up or are better than those teams' best 2 stars, because with the Cavs, you got Donovan Mitchell, and then it's between Garland, Mobley, or Allen. It's one of those 2. And with the Magic, it's Paolo and it's Franz. With Tyrese and Siakam, I think them with a full offseason integrated together, they can look scary next year. And if we're getting a healthy version of Tyrese Halliburton, this Pacers team has the biggest room to improve, because that version of Tyrese is a difference maker when we talk about these teams.
My only reservation becomes the defense. And I understand once they got Pascal Siakam, they went from one of the worst defenses to slightly below average. If I'm not mistaken, it was around like the 18th best defense post All-Star break. But I still wonder, how are they going to look on the defensive side of the ball? Offensively, I have no doubts. This is going to be one of the most explosive, one of the more high-paced offenses in the league. They're going to get out there, run. They're going to shoot the basketball efficiently. But really, the ceiling begins and ends with how well Tyrese Halliburton is going to play. We're going to get November Tyrese Halliburton for an entire season, because if that's the case, we're talking about one of the better players in the game. But if we're getting March and February Tyrese Halliburton, this is when we limit the ceiling of the Indiana Pacers. I don't disagree with you, Joel. I think that there's so much talent on this team, but the one genuine concern can be, how well can we defend against these higher level offenses? Because if you're going up against the Boston Celtics, if you're going up against the New York Knicks, who look to take away or look to run away with that series prior to OG Anunoby getting injured, how can you look against these upper echelon teams that not only are great defensively, but are also really good offensively too? That's where I agree with Vegas in their current ranking of the Indiana Pacers.
So should their expectation be win a playoff series?
I think their expectation, at minimum, they're a playoff team.
You did that already, though.
They
No,
should
but
want to
I'm
make
not-
it out the
Yeah,
East.
you made it to the
No,
ECF
you're
last
saying
year.
what's their expectation for themselves?
No, because I
Or
feel
I'm
like
just saying our expectations for
half the
them.
teams in the league would be like
I
championship.
feel like our expectation should be playoff win
For them.
a series,
Yes.
a series
You know-
win. I'm not asking for another ECF run.
Uh-huh.
Just win a series.
Similar to like the Cavs last season.
Yeah, just win a
Fair.
series.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
You know, I'm not going to back down from any expectations when it comes to this team because they beat the Knicks in the series. The Knicks were injured, so we got to give them that. I just can't bring myself to say this team just made the conference finals and then just winning a playoff series for them is a win. I think that the goal for them should get to the conference finals, if not give themselves a serious chance at winning the East.
No, here's
And
the thing.
I think if Tyrese is healthy
their
and we get the best
expectations-
version of him, that is one of the 15 best players
Their
in the league.
expectations for them are different than what our expectations should be. Because if I'm them, yeah, I should be thinking we should go and we should represent the Eastern Conference. We were just an ECF team. But we can sit here and say we know teams can go to the ECF, WCF, and simply not just have a really good run. The Atlanta Hawks.
My expectation for them is they got to be one of the better teams in the East.
Okay, so
That's
what's
my
their ceiling to
expectation.
you?
I think they can make the conference finals once again.
Disagree wholeheartedly.
And the Celtics, that was their toughest series, Indiana Pacers.
And it was a sweep.
Definitely was.
Yeah, but you look at how Joe Mazzulla has talked about that series.
He said that was
you
the
look
toughest
at
series.
how the players
That
talk
doesn't
about
mean
that
it's going to be
series.
tougher for those two teams on the right, though.
Yeah, but Indiana's offense is unguardable. You cannot stop them.
I agree, but you also have to stop somebody. Like I feel like Embiid will have fun in that series, like legitimate happy feet, like 35, 40-point games. Like I feel like I don't know that I feel like that's I don't want to use the word. I feel like that's just putting unfair expectations on them. I feel like asking them to go to the ECF again, given that everybody in each round was injured when they played against them. I think that's just unfair. I just don't think this team is as good as the top four
Every
teams
year,
in the East.
all the top teams in each individual conference, it changes drastically. This year coming into this year, it's the Celtics, it's the Knicks, it's the Bucks, and it's the Sixers. The Bucks and Sixers last year, due to their injuries, took themselves out of that race. And I look at outside the top four teams in the Eastern Conference that we know are the most talented, who has the best shot at making the conference finals? I think it's the Indiana Pacers.
I think that's super fair to say. Outside of the top four, you're telling me Pacers, Cleveland, the Magic. Yes, I think they have a good chance.
Remember last year who did it? It was a team that was led by Spo in an AFC that did it. Like the last team that did some type of run that we're thinking of. It was a team like Miami with Jimmy Butler, with Spo, with Bam
But just
Adebayo.
compare it to the teams we're saying in 2024, the Magic, the Cavs. If you want to throw any other team that we haven't talked about
It's
yet.
either
I
them or
like
the
that you
Cavs.
brought that up.
It's either them or the
because
Cavs.
The Heat right now, 44.5 wins. That's their total. I'm out on the Heat.
Yeah.
I'm out
I mean,
on
they'll
them.
be hovering.
If they're healthy, you're out.
I'm out on them.
If they're healthy, you're out.
Yes, Jimmy Butler has a player option. This is his This could be Jimmy Butler's last year in
But
Miami.
don't you
So
think
he has
that-
to play to get paid.
I was going to say, don't you think he'll be locked in?
I also think it's something that could just ruin.
If we get a
what they
locked
have.
in Jimmy Butler, you can't be out on the Heat.
Yeah, but the thing is, even a locked in
what's
Jimmy
in?
Butler.
Well, them being a playoff team.
Let me ask you something.
They can easily do that.
Jimmy Butler plays amazing, right? He plays amazing this year.
They can have a
Let's
higher
say they
ceiling
win a
than the
playoff
Pacers.
series. Do you pay Jimmy Butler a max contract
If he plays amazing,
coming off this year?
sign it.
Pay it to trade him.
Well, I
you
don't
wanna
know
move
if anyone's going to want
Yeah,
that
I
contract.
don't know.
once we
Wait,
give
you're
it
telling
to
me he
him.
balls?
I'm not paying Jimmy Butler at all.
Okay,
Under no
well,
circumstances
somebody's
after
gonna
this
pay
year.
What's the
Jimmy
question?
Butler.
What's the question? He balls out.
I'm saying, are you gonna pay?
What-
If he
your-
balls out and is healthy and he plays 65 to 70 games,
Okay. Yes.
I just don't think the Heat are going to be like, all right,
Yes.
let's rebuild. Let's
absolutely.
At that point, it's Bam.
But I
What's
don't
your
think
other
teams are
option?
going to line up to not pay Jimmy Butler either. I think teams are going to line up to pay
You just
Jimmy
saw Paul George get an absolute bag.
Butler. Yeah, exactly.
You
Teams
have to.
Teams are
From
gonna
a team
pay
that
Jimmy
can
Butler.
actually contend. I think the Miami Heat are done. I think they
But
have
there's gonna
to
be a
they
team
have
that
to
has-
start
that are a
settling on
piece
the
away.
rebuild window.
There's going to be a team whenever Jimmy's a free agent, if he is, that's a piece away. That's going to be like Jimmy's the piece.
Absolutely.
Easily.
What's Jimmy? 34?
I'm not saying Jimmy Butler
34,
won't get
35.
paid. I'm saying if I'm the Heat, I don't pay him.
I think the Heat should have been thought about a rebuild, but I think that's more of a respect to Spo and how he makes these guys play out of their minds or play like out of what they actually are.
fact.
And this team tends to overachieve a good amount of time. So it's hard for them to just say we rebuild. If they think about it, then in the playoffs they rack off an ECF run.
Jimmy Butler is 35 years old.
He is.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
And you would pay him a max for 4 years.
No,
I've seen
well,
the teams
that's
just give it to PG.
Well, he's going to get a max because that's just what you do. Like, everyone gets 4. Even though he might only be good for the first couple of years, you still have to give him a 4-year because some team's going to give him 4 years.
Kawhi got a pretty snipey extension. And
Like the Harden deal that was 2 years, 70 mil, that's not going to be Jimmy Butler's contract.
But if you're the Heat, why would you pay Jimmy Butler?
Because what's the alternative?
because without
You're not
Jimmy
going to
Butler,
contend with him either way. They're not contending.
they've been to
Yeah,
two
I don't care about
finals
that.
with him.
Those are magical runs. That's not going to happen again.
it can't be magical
so then,
twice.
but the
don't care.
Pacers,
No,
in
the
20 the
Pacers
bubble
aren't
were
though.
the 8th seed one was
Yeah,
short.
the
Pacers
But
aren't
the
a
other
magical
one, they were a
run.
number 1 seed.
Yeah, the
I
bubble
think it was
year
a
is
fluke
valid.
run, but the Pacers
Even the
are
one after
younger.
that, when they played Ja, the loss was
20,
But they
you're
hit
right,
more
2022, I'm
talented.
saying.
They
Yeah,
were
not
top
both.
The
seed.
Pacers are much younger. The Miami Heat, if your best player is spearheaded by Jimmy Butler, you're not doing nothing in the East. Let's be real.
You can say that about Indiana with
Pacers-
Tyrese.
Yeah, but
Tyrese or
Tyrese
Jimmy
is-
right now.
Tyrese is 20.
still
Who
gonna
would I
take
take on my team
Jimmy.
moving forward to build? It's Tyrese Halliburton.
No, if we're talking
This is
rebuild, I'm
about
saying
this
right
year.
now.
We're talking rebuild, Ja.
Of course you have to
Yeah,
take
but that's why the
Tyrese.
Indiana Pacers would. That's why they're building
talking
around
about
Mr.
this
Timeline.
season, though.
The
We're talking
Miami
about
Heat
this
missed their
season.
timeline.
Are we not
for sure.
talking about
for
this
sure, for
season?
Shit, if Indiana got Cap and they see Jimmy Butler in their offseason, they're
It's
paying
over.
him. They're paying him.
I would not pay Jimmy Butler
You
a
may
max
not.
contract moving forward.
But we
with the
know
Miami
why
Heat.
you may
No,
not.
but the Miami Heat aren't willing to do it either. They could have got him
Because
a
he's
contract.
been
What would
injured.
you do if you're Pat Riley? You don't pay Jimmy Butler. What do you do now?
Yeah,
You have
let's
Bam
build
and
around
you have
Bam
players.
Adebayo.
You rebuild. That's it. That's all
Do
you
you even
do.
know their draft situation, the draft capital situation?
I know that they have their first round picks.
Yeah. So for them, they would have to really just be bad to get a top pick to
How
really
do you?
rebuild.
Because how do you build this team with Bam? You have Jaime. You have Jovic. I guess
Tyler.
is your next best.
Yeah,
Tyler Hero.
this team's timeline fits those guys. Bam Adebayo,
27.
Jaime Jaquez, Tyler Hero, Jovic, all those players are younger. Khalil Ware, who they just drafted.
Yep.
That's the
I
timeline
feel
you
like
got to build around
I feel
moving
like
forward.
with that roster, we're going to the next off season and be like, yo, if Miami Heat could get a true number one player, all right, now you could be a playoff
You're not going to be
team.
bad enough to get a top 5 pick.
No, that team's gonna, especially in the East, that team's gonna be in the play-in. You know what I mean? Like
you're gonna
with
get like a
Spo
top
there.
12. Now you got to sit here and keep banking on. I'm not saying they can't do it, but keep banking on the 12th pick, the 13th pick, the 14th pick.
I mean,
being
they
the star.
could hit on
and they
draft
can do it.
picks,
This
too.
is this one team that can do it.
But at this point,
probably
it's not.
them.
You don't need Jaime's.
Bam
You
would be
need
30
Jimmy
by the next
Butlers.
time
You
you're
need
in
a
a
Donovan
legitimate
Mitchell.
playoff
Yeah,
series.
getting Bam to be Bam was pretty fortunate.
Yeah,
the one team that's been linked to Jimmy has been the Brooklyn Nets.
they're gonna
They
be
do this
terrible.
every. Just stop. Rebuild the right way for once, please.
Well,
Brooklyn.
that's one team that would give
A bag.
Jimmy Butler 4 years, all the money
Shit,
in the world.
Detroit.
Because come to our arena, watch us play. Right now, this team is
Jimmy
terrible.
Butler right
Bring
now
somebody.
is seeking a 2-year, 113 max extension, $56.5 million.
Oh, he
per
only
year.
wants 2 years.
Yeah.
So if you're the Heat, 2 years?
37 is what he wants
do
the
that.
contract to be over
I'd
at.
do that.
2 years.
Joel,
ain't bad.
now with that in mind,
I
you're
thought
in.
he wanted a
Jimmy
4-year deal.
Butler doesn't stay healthy in the regular season,
35,
and
you know.
Jimmy Butler does not
Jordan
perform
got
at the
it,
level in the regular season that he does in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler
He's like
is
Jamal
not
Murray.
somebody that elevates the Heat in the regular season at all, and he does miss a lot of games. That's why the Heat have been hesitant to pay him, because he misses a lot
It's
of games.
been the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, he misses a lot of games, and in the regular season you can't count on him, and that's why you're always in a bad position when it comes to playoff seeding at the end of the year.
Listen, I'm with you when it comes to regular season. It's annoying that they're not better, but going into a playoff series, if Jimmy Butler continues to elevate the way he does, you have Bam, you have some pieces around them, and then you have Spo. Spo to me changes things for this Heat team. That every matchup you're going into, from a schematic standpoint, you're going to be at an advantage.
Let's be real, man. If they had Jimmy Butler, they would still have lost to you guys.
No, for
pretty
sure,
easily.
for sure. I still think they lose, but I mean, what if you go up against a Milwaukee team and Middleton's
What
a
if
little
they
bit
went up
banged
against
up?
Orlando?
Like, I don't know.
If the Heat had the Pacers run to the ECF
that's
with
a
a
great
healthy
point.
Jimmy
Should be.
Butler,
That's a
they
great point.
are an ECF team.
That's a great point.
They're an ECF team because they did that essentially the year before that.
And
Well,
everybody
they
was
wouldn't have
injured.
because they had the 8th seed, and that's why they played the Celtics.
He's saying hypothetically.
Yeah, I'm saying
What was the difference
hypothetically.
between
Yeah,
their
if the
seeds?
Heat go through the easiest path possible to make the conference finals, and they
How
can
many
do
wins
it.
did the Heat have last
But
year?
you're
That's not saying
praising
much
the
to me.
It wasn't
but
a
you're
crazy
praising
drop.
the
I'm not
Pacers.
praising the Pacers. I said their run was
No,
fluke.
but you're saying this season.
Yeah, because I think there's another level Tyrese Halliburton can get to, and they have one of the best depth in the league. Right now, the reason why the Pacers are building around Tyrese Halliburton is because he's only 23 years old, 24 years old. So, of course, you have to see how far he can get to as a player potential-wise.
When we've seen what happens when you build around Jimmy, how far you can
Butler
go.
is
Brother,
capped
you know
off.
the Pacers won one more game than the Heat last year.
Yeah, and that was the difference.
And
in
with
the
the
seeding.
unhealthy Jimmy.
Shit, one more than the Sixers won one more. Cleveland,
I mean,
Orlando.
you said it. 5 through 8 last year was 47, 47, 47,
Miami, he was in that
46.
dogfight. Shit, the
were.
Knicks only won 4 more.
I just look at the Heat and I think there's no scenario. I think actually,
no, it's nuts because we see Indiana just go to ECF.
I'm not going to say it's no scenario.
Thank
I'm not
you.
talking about the conference finals right now. I'm talking about I'm talking about Jimmy Butler getting paid by the Heat.
Okay.
That's not what I'm not talking about the conference finals because yes, if they go through the easiest run, yes, they can make the conference finals. There's a scenario that's possible there. My prediction is that next year Jimmy Butler will not be on the Heat no more. I think
that
he's not going
prediction's
to he's
fine.
not going to be there.
I think
that's
there's
my
a
prediction.
decent chance.
That
Where's
My
he go?
thing
Where's
is,
he go?
this
he
is Jimmy
gets
Butler's
a max
last year.
contract or whatever, a max extension or a max whatever deal with whatever team he goes next because he's simply too good.
If
What
Jimmy
teams
Butler,
have cap space next year?
I don't know off the top of my head, but all I
if
know
Jimmy
is
Butler leaves, where do you want to see him?
Bam
go?
just turned 27, which means he'll be 28 next summer, which means Jimmy Butler will be leaving. I don't know if that fits his timeline of now you have to work on getting back to this level. He might be 30, 31 by that time.
I think the Heat can retool in like a year or two.
How? Like bringing another star?
Yeah, they did it with Jimmy Butler.
They haven't brought a star in since Jimmy Butler, and they've been trying to bring in stars with Jimmy.
because they've had no assets or capital to do so.
And where
But
are
if
they going to get the
have-
assets from down the road?
If they have cap
Well,
space,
to get
they will be
Harden,
able to
they
sign
didn't want to
somebody.
put in Tyler Hero in the deal.
I'm not
They've
sure if
kinda
that's
shot
entirely
themselves
true.
in-
I agree with you because I've heard that rumor before, and if that's the case, then that's just a bad on them. I thought they should have been traded Tyler Hero, but that's the problem when you don't trade to go all in. You are now stuck in between 3 timelines.
What's their cap
Jimmy Butler
situation?
winning now, Bam Adebayo entering his prime, and all these young players that you just drafted that are pretty damn good, but you don't have the necessary team to really win it all. I think they're in a weird spot. And
I don't think their timeline was ever rebuilt, though. They've
no,
always
I'm not saying
maintained.
that. Now I think the timeline you start to think about that.
Yeah, you
this is the year that after the disappointing year that they came off of, you start to think about, is this our best possible outcome to be better in the future? And the Miami Heat, the transition to the Jimmy Butler era was kind of similar to what we see now. The Miami Heat weren't bad for long. They actually had a really solid core with Goran Dragic. Hassan Whiteside was good. It was one of Dwayne Wayne's last years. And just signing Jimmy Butler put them back into relevancy. We all thought the Heat weren't going to be that good. But then once they signed Jimmy Butler in the 2018 offseason, that changed the trajectory. And I'm saying if you don't pay Jimmy Butler, who's 35 and he's going to be 36 next year, if in free agency you get somebody else that's a really good up-and-coming player that you take a chance on, there's a possibility it can still contend without just giving that money to Jimmy, but
So
elsewhere.
next year, just to double check, this year there'll be negative 52 in the cap space, negative 9 over the first apron. So next year, if they don't bring back Jimmy, if he declines that player option, they'll just be negative 12 in the cap space. So they won't even have, because they still have Terry's contract. They could decline Duncan though, so that would help.
It won't be immediate. I think that they
Yeah.
just probably see how far these players can take them for a year. Let's see how good Jaime Jaquez is. Let's see how good Khalil Ware is. Let's see how good all these players are. And if they're better than you think,
but
but that's another one that we didn't even talk
I mean,
about.
you know he's going to be a high level role player. That's
He
what you
is.
brought him in for.
And these next couple of years, you're not really there's just not free agents out there. I mean, you could always trade for somebody, but looking at 25, LeBron, who I don't think he's going to Miami, Fred, Rudy Gobert, Kyrie, James Harden, Brandon Ingram, Middleton. There's no one there you're going in and really making a difference. And even in 26, it's Dame who's going to be like 38.
Nobody's going to be Jimmy Butler for you.
LeBron again, KD who's going to be like 40, Trae Young, Luka. Do they really leave SGA? Like, there's just I don't think there's going to be a free
Trae Young
agent
be
out
cool.
there.
Trey would be awesome.
Trey Young would change
Yeah,
that.
but he'll get traded before he's a
I
free
think
agent.
we talk about impact
Probably.
players, and last season the impact player on the defensive side for our team was Derek Lively. Khalil Ware can be the Miami Heat's Derek Lively in the sense of Bam Adebayo. He has so many responsibilities on the defensive side. Now he doesn't have to worry that he doesn't have someone behind him defensively. So that's where I can see that there's another
He's
realm
also a
where,
better offensive player.
for
Coming out.
sure. I'm with you there.
I like what Dell said. Listen, if the Heat move on from Jimmy and they get Trae Young, I love that a lot. Trae with Bam Adebayo, that Heat culture
that's a
and
team
what they
option,
have.
Trey's last year.
This is the 26th free agency.
That's a team option.
So that'll be like about 2 years from now. The Heat
They
would
would have
have
to
some
trade for him.
drafts. You know, I think the most important thing for the
It's a
Heat
player
is
option.
Oh,
Or
it's
no,
player? It's team.
player. Then
player.
UFA.
it's not wasting Bam Adebayo. That's the most important thing. So
Yeah,
I
if you get
think
Trae, for sure,
I
yeah.
think you can be middle of the pack for about 2 years with Bam, and then get a player like that. You have 2 drafts to add talent, and it could be fun. I mean, it's no different than this current timeline with Jimmy. Yes, they have went on these magical runs, but they haven't finished the job, and they're injured. They go on these stretches where they're just not that competitive. and you're banking on Jimmy Butler to become superhuman in the playoffs to get you out of that.
They've just been the inferior team most times. And like 2 years from now, if you get Trae Young, I don't think all of a sudden you become the favorites. I think you're in a similar spot. Unless one of these young players or Bam takes another lead or something like that, you're going to go into most match for things.
Bam is nearing the player who he's kind of.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think Bam's going to turn into a fucking top 5
But Bam
player.
with Trae Young, it would be electric. I think
It'd be great.
that dude
I
would be
still
awesome.
think
I
that
don't know
what
if
they've
it's-
done with Jimmy is probably a higher ceiling of what they
probably
will
what it
reach
is.
with
Yeah,
Trey.
we're talking about multiple finals. Talking about multiple ECFs.
And what Jimmy can do on the offensive and defensive side of the ball is what makes him so valuable to Miami.
I just don't know if at this point, at 35 years old, going to be 36 next year, he's going to be that same
I mean,
guy.
he did it not this year, but the year before that. He was
was younger.
unfucking believable.
I think those those years matter. I mean, we saw
year matters.
Yeah,
I
Chris
guess.
Game
Paul-
doesn't really. It's
Chris
different.
Paul was an all-star with the Suns first year, and then as years went by, he just declined because of age. It happens.
He's 35 though.
When you're this old, you can decline at any time.
Chris Paul relied a lot on his speed, his deceptiveness.
Quickness.
Quickness. Jimmy Butler doesn't really.
He's finesse.
Yeah, he's more finesse, old school. He don't really rely a lot on his speed.
He's
and all
using
that.
his strength too,
Yeah,
which I don't think is going far
strength.
away.
He just
Chris
ain't-
Paul definitely did not rely with the Suns on
No, I'm
the
talking about
speed.
like just what Chris Paul's game was. So it was easy. Like, as he got older, he was eventually just gonna. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because
I don't know about that. Because Chris Paul played well into his 30s, playing at a very slow pace.
No,
I would
but he
also
was
call
still
Chris
quick.
Paul a finesse player though.
No, he was. He learned that for sure. But I think like even now, like Chris Paul doesn't have this. He can't create separation. Like he has no speed. He can't. At
least
go
Jimmy
off the
Butler-
Well,
bounce.
now he's
Strong. He could-
39.
Well, he couldn't do that last year.
I know.
And the year
he
before
was
that.
what, 38 years old at that time?
Yeah, he was
Yeah, I know,
pretty
but
old.
I'm saying, and that was Chris Paul at 37. I think Jimmy Butler in a year or two can look washed.
Well, you said he's gonna look like that now.
Well,
No, I
he's-
never said that. I said in a year or two.
Well, 2
Well, you're
years.
doubting he could do it this year.
Well,
right.
this
A little
year,
bit, because he said, well,
this year, yes,
last year
I'm
he was
doubting that he
younger.
can go on a superhuman run in the playoffs again like he did. I just think
mean,
that
that's tough.
that is
That's
that
tough
is
to
just
repeat.
unlikely to do. And what they did was very special, and kudos to them.
He's done it 3
How about
times.
somebody- how
What do you
about
mean
Miami
by
get him
3
some fucking
times?
Well,
help?
he's gone to the finals twice, and he's gone to the ESCF 3
4
times.
times.
4. Excuse me.
you add that.
You're 100%.
Yes, but the team that team was the first seed in the East when they went to the
I
ECF.
understand
He's
that.
done it underdog, overdog,
yeah.
D-dog.
Overdog
he's done it.
is
Yeah,
funny.
like, you can't even pick, like he's done it at any like injured, not injured. He's done it.
Yeah, I mean, if we get another magical run, then this looks a lot different. But even if he gives you a magical run, I think there is still some pause from the Heat and saying,
can they
okay,
win a
are we going
playoff
to really
series?
commit this much money to him?
Can he win a playoff series?
Yes.
The
I
most
think
they
they
send
can.
him is they don't. They don't
I
send
think they
him
can
no
win a
help.
playoff series with the right matchup. But I think that all the other teams in the top 4 in the East, if they match up with them, I think they would beat them.
I think. All right.
That's fair.
We can move on.
You can
to
say
the
that
next
about Indiana,
Yeah, this is the next
Cleveland,
team. We'll talk
Orlando.
about the
Same
Heat
thing.
for
Yeah.
so long.
The Atlanta Hawks, 35.5 wins, 9 wins less than the Miami Heat. So after the top 8 in the East, we get a very steep drop off.
Deservedly.
And
Trey
then
can
after
get
the
them
Hawks,
40.
we get a drop off too. So Atlanta Hawks, I think for them, it's just, do you like this new look vision that the Hawks are trying to build a roster around with Trae Young? They traded for Dyson Daniels. They
did.
drafted Reese Shea, who's a bigger wing. Bogdan Bogdanovic is now in the starting lineup.
Larry Nance is on the squad.
Larry
as well.
Nance.
Jalen Johnson's at the 4.
So I feel like this team, they're building
Yes.
wing versatility around Trae Young. Do you
Yes.
like this new look
That's
direction?
what you're supposed to do when you have a small guard
Yes.
of his size, Steph Curry size, Isaiah Thomas to go way back, Chauncey Billups, somebody he was still a little bigger, but you get my drift. You put versatile, long, athletic, defending wings next to your small guard. The next piece is have a great to elite guy who can create for himself and others at that wing or forward spot. If you can do that, then that's kind of the blueprint. The blueprint has been there. It's just small guards don't tend to win championships as the best players. It doesn't happen often. And you value that big wing that can kind of do everything or just play the offense, play the defense. You value that a little bit more. But Trae Young is one of the most talented players in our league. He's a guy who he's a walking top 10 offense himself. I think he can get them 40 wins. I think that's within the cards of Trae Young. He is that good. But they may not have the right players, but I love the mindset of you put a 6'6" wing next to Trae Young and Dyson. Then you got the 6'9", 6'10". I don't know how to say his name. Rishisher.
You got it.
Zachary.
Just call him Zach.
Shea, I
Yeah,
think.
Zachary.
Zachary Rishisha.
Then you got Jalen Johnson, who kind of broke out last year. He can play the 4. Now you just need to solidify that 5. Is Onyeka finally going to get the starting spot? Are you keeping Clint Capella? How are you going to do it? And then now just figuring out of those 3 wings, which I think you're probably banking on the number 1 overall pick to kind of be that guy, but I don't think he is. to kind of just be that next creative level guy, kind of have that secondary create for others and stuff like that, because you obviously don't want Trae Young to do everything. You want him to have a little help. Jimmy Butler would be great for a scenario like this. Like, you have your point guard, then you have your wing that can do the same things you do while also defend. So it's not a drop-off. Like, Jimmy would be actually the perfect vibe for it. His type of play style. Paul George is another. His type of play style. Like, those type of players that can come in. So I think what they're doing is perfect. Unfortunately, I just don't think they're talented enough. I think it's Trae Young, and you still have to wait to see. Dyson Daniels has something to prove. The number one pick, Zach, has something to prove. Even Jalen Johnson, he has to prove that wasn't a fluke last year.
What do you think? Buffkin gets uptick?
Kind of has to
With
now.
DeJounte gone?
Especially with DeJounte out.
Can Jalen Johnson make an All-Star game? Is he an All-Star level player? Can he get to that?
He could.
Bro, ask 3 different questions. in 30 seconds.
I don't
Can
know if
he
he could be an
get to
All-Star
it?
this year. I think there's going to be too many other players who are complimentary on really good teams that get the like Jalen Johnson's going to have to go out there and average like 22 to really get consideration. I don't know if he's doing that.
I think he could do that.
He's
this year.
fringe amazing.
22?
I think he
think
could definitely.
He averaged 16, 15 last
If
year.
John Collins was able to average 19 and 10 with Trae Young, I think
That
Jalen
was
Johnson can average
straight
20.
lob.
But that's as a 3 though, as a number 3. Well, technically third option. Whenever
That's fair. That's fair.
I think you don't have to make an All-Star game to be an All-Star. So I think, can it be
Johnny?
drink some fucking water, dude.
Damn. So hostile.
I think All-Star level,
Fucking
I can see it. Like at his
30%.
prime. I can see it.
go to hell.
30% what?
That I'm mean to John.
Hey, you're being nice this episode. Okay.
He's brought
He's
it back
fucking
in.
choking. What the fuck?
Does John man up? Yo, what if you offer him your water, bro?
Nah.
Oh,
Wow. I
Drew
don't
didn't
have
offer-
any. I literally have.
I don't have anything either.
damn, John.
I have nothing.
Jalen Johnson, I think, is going to be an exceptional
He's going to be
player.
amazing.
He's really good. I like him.
I
like
can
his
definitely see
He's already fringe
22,
amazing.
20, 10, and 5. I think that's what he could be.
Go.
20, 10, 5. Yeah.
And you see DeAndre Hunter's probably coming off the bench.
Good.
I actually love that for him.
Jason Tatum finals numbers. That's what that is. 20, 10, and 5.
Oh my god.
Right?
Anyhow, you done?
DeAndre Hunter is not that good,
He
so.
averaged like
But
23.
off the bench,
In the finals?
that's what I mean.
Solid.
Can give you some level of scoring off the
I feel
bench
like he
on top of
screams
it.
fake defense.
He's over 25.
He's not a good defender in your eyes.
He's supposed to be elite.
I don't call him elite.
Maybe let me say disappointment.
Sure,
Who?
Say, DeAndre Hunter.
Oh, no, he's been wildly disappointing.
for sure. But
Injuries
off
haven't
the
helped.
bench,
Also. Off the bench,
that's what I like.
Him and Bogdan,
That's what-
probably go
because
Kobe.
then you have Nance off the bench too.
Bogdan
That was
starting.
22 in the finals. Calm.
It's ass.
Bogdan. Oh, they're bringing Zach off the bench.
I
Say
think,
the
no,
efficiency
Zach
now.
is starting. I think
22,
when I saw their
97.
depth chart, it
Efficiency,
was
Efficiency not for
DeAndre Hunter.
so ugly.
I think Onyeka was coming off the bench.
He is.
DeAndre's coming off the bench this year.
And
DeAndre is. It's off the bench. It's Buffkin. I'm blanking on the 2. DeAndre.
Dyson.
Nance. Thank you. Dyson off the
Dyson's
bench.
coming off the bench.
Nance at
That's
the
why I was
4,
forgetting
and
about
then
Nance.
yeah, and Onyeka as the backup 5. I'll be honest. Fake deep.
It's okay.
Fake deep.
It's solid players for the whole.
I
Dyson
put that
Daniels.
exactly in my notes. I said this is a fake deep team.
a good
It's
team.
a cute roster
Yeah.
with
Some potential.
Trae Young being your obviously cream of the crop guy. They're gonna have a very high powered offense and be one of the league leaders in offensive rating. You guys already said this perfectly.
be a playing team.
They prioritize for
They will
sure.
definitely be a playing
They
team.
prioritize size, spacing, and defense. Finally, however, this is where we have to have the conversation about the direction. Don't have their first round picks for the next 2 years in 25 and 27, and in 26 it's a pick swap with the Spurs. So that's where it's like I don't know how to feel about them, especially with the limited amount of moves that they can make in the draft, in free agency, who's really
Question.
going to want to go.
It's going to sound a little crazy, but do you think they're building this idea up for the next
Free agent.
point guard to come in?
Oh,
or for next year's draft player that they have. I
Do you think they're
it's possible.
do you think they're because I feel like it's been rumors and been rumbling Trae Young, Atlanta, possible move. Do you think this is a thing of where, yeah, we're building this team up for Trae Young, but in reality, we're gonna trade Trae Young, get a lot of picks back, and then bring in the next great point guard that are
The
coming out
only
draft?
way I can see it happening, Trae Young getting traded, is if he legitimately gets traded back to the
there's-
Spurs so
there's
that
two-
they can get their picks back.
There's big guards coming in the league nowadays. Dylan Harper, for example, he's about 6'6", 6'5". So it could be a potential of just trading Trae Young, getting a top pick with obviously more picks. Trae Young is probably going to go for like 4 or 5. And then you've built kind of a semblance of what you want where you got your big guard, your big wings, and you kind of just roll out
But you
this.
can't trade Trae Young without your picks.
What do you mean?
You need your picks. If I'm
Well,
the Hawks, I need
I mean, if you're
my
getting-
picks.
if
the
you're
Nets
getting-
were able to get their picks back
But they
from the
finessed.
Rockets.
And that was crazy.
But it's because the Rockets were able to get Suns picks, which are
sure.
very valuable
And
too.
the Spurs and Atlanta have been linked up.
Yes,
They
but that's why I say
they
that.
talked about him, Trae
Him
Young.
and Wemby would make
Because
sense.
you get your 3 picks back from the
Yeah,
Spurs.
maybe
You
get one
probably
more.
get another one, maybe a Vassell.
Cool little player, whoever
right?
they have.
Agreed. Let's say Vassell's that player.
Sure.
If I'm the Hawks, that is
Cool.
what other offer am I going to get that's better?
I think they
than
try
that?
to keep Vassell though, and I don't even mind if they
Agreed.
would try to keep
I
Vassell.
agree.
Just
I
I got
agree.
my guy.
Like
If I'm
Trey
the Hawks,
Jones.
if I'm the Hawks,
I don't-
give me all the draft
Yeah,
picks.
I
Like
don't-
Devin would be great, but
Give me a
my
draft
picks
pick,
back so I
and
could
if
actually
Keldon
do
Jones
something
last
here.
year, give me Keldon Johnson.
I feel like the Hawks is pretty easy. In the East, they're going to be a playing team because you said it. After this, there's another drop off. In the West, they'd be screwed though. Like this is a team that since they're in the Eastern Conference, we could kind of talk about these players and talk about this team, and potentially making a moves as like an 8 or 9 seed. But in reality, they're not really close to doing anything. So the direction question is valid. I think the way Trae Young gets moved is he goes to the front office and says, "Get me out of here." I think Trae Young has established himself in Atlanta that they wouldn't just kind of do it behind his back.
with you.
It's more so either Trae Young comes to the front office or they come together and be like, "Listen, we got to make some moves." Whoops. It's better for you. You could go and compete somewhere. It's better for us. We could get our draft picks back. San Antonio would be dope because for one, it'd be fun for basketball to see Trae Young and Wemby back. But getting these draft picks back, it's real difficult. Where the Hawks are right now, it's so difficult to rebuild because you're going to be good enough to be an 8 seed, but you're not going to be bad enough to get a top draft pick. And the East doesn't look like it's moving so quick that all of a sudden you're just going to fall off unless Trae Young has an injured season. So I think like what you guys said, it's obvious that I think Jalen Johnson's the number 2 priority on this team. What he showed last year, being able to take that leap. I think going into year 4 now, he's only going to get better. And then you just got to hope that Zachary can hit and be the player that you want him to be. What he turns into, I don't know. Like normally, number 1 overall picks is like, this dude we think can be all NBA. I don't know if that's his expectation. I don't think that's anyone's expectation for him. But if he could fit in with this team and show that he could be a valuable piece, then you feel better about this team going in the future.
The next drop off is the play-in spot. The Raptors are at 30.5 wins, so a 5-game drop off from the Atlanta Hawks, and that completes the play-in section
Bracket.
of this standings list. The Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, Bucks, Cavaliers, Magic, Pacers, Heat, Hawks, Raptors, all in that order, from 1st to 10th, having a chance at the playoffs or
I
being
think Charlotte
contenders.
is better than Toronto.
Okay. The Hornets are at 29.5 wins.
I
Can
think
Toronto be
they'll
better than the
break
Hawks?
that. Who?
Can Toronto be better than the Hawks?
I think that's the tier probably for that 10th seed.
The thing with Charlotte being better than Toronto is we absolutely 100% need
Let me
LaMelo
rephrase.
Ball to play 70
Let
games.
me rephrase. I think Charlotte is more talented than the Toronto Raptors.
Okay. I don't
I
don't
say that.
hate the statement because the starting lineup for the Hornets is actually attractive.
What's it looking like this year? Do you have it written
Off
down?
the top of the
B.
dome,
Miller,
yep.
Mark,
Yep.
Bridges,
Mark starting.
Yep.
and
Grant Williams, maybe.
Grant's coming off the bench, and Sal Yuan's also coming off the bench.
I
I
really
am
like-
blanking on the
I
3.
think Nick is going to get some
Josh Green, that is who
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Nick
if you're
is
starting
Josh
They
Josh
got
Green,
Trey Man too.
you can start Grant. It
You
doesn't
could.
matter.
Agreed.
Trey Man, Nick Smith's going to get some run this year. It's cute. It's a lot of cute guys. out there.
So I guess that leads into this conversation.
guys.
A lot of cute guys out there. It's crazy.
My bad.
But when we talk about the Raptors, real quick, just because that's
Yes.
the kind of conversation right now, this is a pretty decent squad too, especially for a play-in team. Understanding that primarily on ball, you're going to have IQ or Scotty. If RG can play the way that he played since he's been on the Raptors, how he played in this offseason, especially in the Olympics. We saw Grady Dick, especially in the second half of the season. If I'm not mistaken, 6 attempts, 37% from 3. That was his blue collar trait that he had coming into the draft. Was he was, if not him, Jordan Hawkins, best shooter in the draft. Understanding that at the big position, you have, of course, Jakob Poeltl and Olynyk. Olynyk sneaky is a decent backup big. I just look at the team and understand that, of course, when we talk about the better teams, yeah, this doesn't stack up. But with play-in teams, as far as play-in teams go, it's pretty well-rounded.
Toronto.
Yes.
Yeah. I think especially what you saw from RJ quickly too. But I thought what RJ looked in Toronto, he looked pretty damn good. At
Hell
least
yeah.
Everything you could have expected, if not some more. And we've talked about RJ so much, but I think him getting out of New York, getting kind of out of those expectations was best for this team. And then you have the star in Scotty Barnes. But this is a team that, again, I think in the Eastern Conference, it's like a borderline playing team, but another team that just feels similar to the Hawks, where you have your star in Scotty Barnes and Trae Young, and you got some pieces you're hopeful for, Jalen Johnson, RJ Barrett. Maybe they have a couple more with like IQ for sure. But again, just a team that feels a bit stuck in the mud right now. I think Scotty can turn into like a really good player. Can he turn into a number one? I don't know. Like, I think obviously Trae Young is better right now. Does he reach a peak of Trae Young? It's still super early, right? Maybe he doesn't turn into Giannis like some of us thought up here. But it seemed that it's going to be competitive in the East. That's all in the Eastern play-in bracket, I should say.
Stop it. Just accept your wrongs.
That was a crazy.
I was looking. No, he plays like Giannis. He does. And Scotty Barnes still moves me.
Braylon Allen plays like Derrick
Scotty's
Henry.
awesome.
You're right.
What did you say? He plays like Derrick
Derrick
Henry?
Scotty Barnes is going to be an All-NBA.
It's my guy.
He's an amazing player. And that's why I feel bad that he's trapped in a situation. Because when you look at the Raptors, just tell me if any team in the NBA would want to trade places and be in their situation. They are locked in to the core of Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley for the next 3 seasons. Emmanuel Quickley for the next 3 years is getting paid $32.5 million per year.
You're bugging. Cade is carrying.
I'm listening. $32 million.
Emmanuel Quickley for the next 3 years, $32.5 million, and he is on a 4-year deal. He's going to be on the team next year. RJ Barrett still has 3 years left on his deal at $25 million, $27 million, and $29 million. You are locked into Scotty Barnes making $40 million, Quickly making $32 million, and RJ making $25 to $29 million for the next 3 seasons.
That's fine.
Who is signing up for that? No, I think no team in the NBA would want to switch into their place.
Listen, they had to do what they had to do. Easily.
Detroit has everybody in a rookie deal, bro.
Is that crazy that I'd rather be Detroit?
Yes.
You think so? Is it crazy? I'd rather be Detroit.
Of course, I'm gonna say
Who's
Detroit's situation?
Who's Detroit's second best player?
Tobias Harris.
Tobias, brother.
Yeah.
That might be as good as RJ. I'll be honest.
I think RJ's better.
No.
RJ's better. RJ was mad with Toronto.
You think it's just
Tobias isn't a part of their young core.
Okay, Asar?
I'm easily banking on Asar's potential over RJ.
I'll tell you what. I wrote down the no spacing lineup for the Pistons. Let me know what you guys think. Well, Kay's obviously going to be in there because he's going to play an insane amount of minutes. You're going to have Cade, Ivy, Asar, Ron Holland, and Jalen Duren. How's that sound?
Isn't going to start.
No, I'm saying the lineup inevitably will be the no space lineup.
What would you say the percentage is that Asar is going to be better than RJ Barrett? Percentage chance.
65.
65?
What?
Yes.
He's just such a raw offensive player, man. He's got
He's not a raw offensive player. He's a raw shooter.
No, brother. He's pretty raw offensively because his shooting stinks.
I'm still kind of stuck on this RJ and Tobias thing. I think it's close.
RJ cooked when he was on the Raptors.
What do y'all think RJ is going to be?
Well,
he could average 20 plus.
Complimentary number
so
3.
We're doing off stats.
Tobias Harris has played well.
we're talking about the Raptors.
Both of these teams are in losing situations where they're not going to win.
No shit, we're going to talk about
the
stats.
counting number's kind of like all we got right now.
Yes, and
Tobias fucking stinks.
Wait, that's
Dehls, to your point, that's why I'd rather be the Pistons
I'm so
because the
confused
Raptors are locked into this big three.
Yeah, we were talking about how they're paying IQ $29 million,
$32 million.
Yeah, for 3 years with this core. I mean, I'm gonna take the guys on rookie deals.
If you're saying, well, since their core is worse, they'll have a worse draft pick and get better players. All right, I'm just saying core for core, not taking into account all
No, I'm saying financial situation, flexibility. I don't think there's a team that want to trade places with the Raptors. I think they are they're stuck.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's because the flexibility is more so you can get a draft pick. Detroit's not going out there and getting
the Bulls are in their first rebuild year right now.
The Wizards?
The Wizards are going to be bad again and get a top pick and maybe get one of the better players in this draft.
They're not paying regular players.
But if we're just talking cores,
how much is Kuz
I was
making?
just talking about cores.
18, 20.
No.
The Wizards' core is not better than Toronto's.
Kuzma's contract?
No, it's not.
Core?
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about core.
RJ in them?
I'm talking about
three.
just flexibility for the next couple of years. That's what I'm talking
Based
about.
on potential, you're not putting Toronto.
Aren't y'all still paying pool?
No,
the
but
Wizards
we're
are
talking
playing
about bottom
pool.
feeders.
Oh yeah, facts. 27.
How much?
Who?
$490?
Yeah, that's not crazy.
The good
All
thing
right.
about
What
Jordan
player is
Poole
that?
is that he's so bad that he doesn't help you win games. I think Emmanuel
Unfortunately,
Quickley
he's cooking.
helps you win a couple more games, and you're not going to be able to be in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
No,
like
they're not.
The Wizards will be.
That's enough Raptors talk.
I agree.
Yeah.
I respect them, though. I think they have a cute team. And I didn't even talk about Davion Mitchell and Bruce Brown.
Tobias Harris on the Pistons, he actually was a part of that team when they made the playoffs for the first
Good for
time
them.
in like 10 years. And on the Clippers, he averaged 20 points per game.
Okay.
Did you just say Davion Mitchell?
Have you
Bench
seen?
players. Defense.
You just said it was a
We were
positive.
talking about
Tobias was
Asar's
off the
offense.
Sixers.
We gotta look at him.
But it's a positive he's on the Pistons.
He's older. Like
We all like Asar more.
No, I'm just Davion stinks.
Defensively, he doesn't.
The
cool.
Pistons were so devoid of talent that Tobias Harris, it
He's their
makes them
second best
better.
player.
Can I tell you
No,
my
easily.
favorite move by them? Malik Beasley. Swear to God.
Yeah, it's a great.
It was my
minimum,
favorite
right?
move. Yes.
Some
It
very
was my
good
favorite
I still
move.
have Jalen Duren stock. So.
Tim
I'm
Hardaway
here too.
Jr. got traded there
Hated
too.
that.
If Jalen Duren plays the way like he plays, this isn't a conversation end of summer. Just
I'm
wanna
with
let
you.
that know.
Jalen Duren's amazing.
Okay, so
But no, not yet, but he can be.
I feel like the conversation is heading into
Hilarious.
we look at
territories.
these teams, the Hornets,
terrible.
Bulls, Pistons, Wizards, and Nets. Those are the 5 worst teams in the East. The Hornets, 29.5
league.
wins. The Bulls, 27.5 wins. The Pistons, improvement, 24.5 wins this year.
getting to
The
30.
Wizards, 20.5. And the Nets are at 18.5 right now. So out of these 5 teams, which one has, in your opinion, the best chance to surprise
I think Charlotte.
us this year?
The Pistons.
Wait, Charlotte was in
Charlotte?
it?
Oh, more,
Charlotte
whoa,
wasn't
whoa,
here.
whoa, I didn't know Charlotte was included.
Charlotte
in
and
this.
Detroit. That's it.
Yeah, I
Nets
actually
will-
like what they did.
The Pistons will win 30 games. We're getting to that mark.
The spacing, they actually addressed it.
Oh my
That
God. Drew,
actual,
stop.
that was exciting.
30 and 52.
Bro,
they
bringing
can
in
do that.
Malik was a great move.
Players suck.
They do.
The spacing is infinitely better than what
That's
they
what
had
I'm
last
saying.
year.
100%.
Yeah.
Cade's
It
gonna
went
be
from
on
terrible to like
I just
maybe
need to see-
manageable.
Agreed.
Maybe manageable.
Maybe
No, it went
manageable.
maybe
from
all
dog shit to ass.
Ron Holland.
Okay.
I like.
He's coming off the bench, but I
like him too.
Yeah, Cade's getting all NBA this year.
No.
The
But
Pistons would have to be a playing team.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, you got guys who have his same numbers, but they have better teams and shit. Man,
you bring in Malik, Tobias, Tim Hardaway, cute spacing. Sasser wasn't terrible last
Defensively,
year.
this would be bad.
Agreed. No, we knew that. But you need to put Cade in a situation where he's not going to feel like if I'm not playing at this insane level, if I don't have the ball in my hand every single time, we're completely doomed. That he trusts his guys around him to
Who's
at
he
least when he
trusting?
kicks out to make
Tobias
shots.
Harris.
Yeah, Loki.
I haven't said I trusted him in ages.
Here's the guys that he has to trust, whether he likes it or not. Tobias, Jaden Ivey.
Ooh. I think Ivy's
I would
gone.
argue
Malik
Malik
Beasley.
Beasley needs to be there as well.
He's a 40% 3-point shooter.
I think
And
Jalen
as a
Duren-
lob threat, him and Jalen Duren need to get on the same page.
With that in mind, is it generous that the Pistons aren't projected to be the worst team again? Because I
think
look,
Wizards.
They'll be better than the Nets.
I look at the Wizards. They have Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma.
Okay.
They signed Jonas Valanciunas.
Team sucks.
They
The
have
first
Corey
name killed me,
Kispert, Bilal
Malcolm Brogdon.
Coulibaly, and I think
You
those
see
are their
Bilal's
best
coming off the
players.
bench?
Kind of disrespectful.
Marvin Bagley, he's
Stop.
played somewhat
Stop.
well there.
It's
He's
the
played
same
all right.
roster,
He's
dude.
played all
Just
right.
one team has Cade.
And then the Nets have Schroeder, Cam Thomas, Finney Smith,
Most
Cam
exciting
Johnson,
part about the
Claxton.
Wizards is Bub. I'm excited for Bub. I really want to see
Ben
him
Simmons. He's been in the gym recently.
ball. Yo, are we back? Are we back?
The summer's almost over.
I'm kind of this time around. I'm kind of buying into Ben Simmons a little bit more.
Yeah. Would you rather Ben Simmons, De'Aaron Fox?
I'm good.
I'm straight.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
I'm
I'm
not buying any.
I'm not gonna
Ben
say I'm all
Simmons
for. I'm
stuff.
on. I'm just not buying stock. That's all I'm saying. I'm just staying away from
We're
that.
here.
I'm staying away from that.
Can the Nets not be better than the Pistons?
Yes. Cam Thomas.
if
Cam Thomas,
if
Ben
they
Simmons.
are, if
turn me up.
listen,
Clax.
if they are better
Come on.
than the
Clax is the
Pistons,
second
on.
name.
I'm
Cam
looking.
Johnson,
I'm looking at
come
Cade
on.
differently for sure.
It's and no, this is not even a K thing.
No, it is.
This is just
no,
a
and
roster
I promise,
thing.
no. I really promise you, it is. If they are better than the Pistons and Cade is on the team, I'm just looking at Cade a little funny. Why did you allow this to happen?
But they lost 20 in a row last year.
Well, last year was a lot worse than this year.
Okay,
and the
Cade
Nets are a lot
Cunningham-
worse than last year.
Let's just comparing the Nets and Pistons roster.
Cade clears everybody.
Cade Cunningham is better than the Nets
Everybody.
Yes.
point guard.
Everybody.
He's the best player we know. Dennis Schroeder. Who's the starting 2 guard for the Pistons?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Jaden Ivey.
Ivy.
Is it
Jaden
Malik
Ivey
Beasley?
is not going
It's
to.
Ivy.
I don't think he's
Well,
gonna
right
start.
now he's listed as a starting 2.
Are they
I know.
better than Cam Thomas?
Nope.
No, Cam is better.
Yes.
Dorian Finney-Smith, who's the starting 3 for the Pistons?
Tobias.
know.
Or is he playing
Asar.
the 4?
Asar.
I don't know.
Who's better, Finney-Smith or
Currently
Asar?
listed as SAR. Let's just go off what's
Right
currently
now,
listed.
Finney Smith is a better player.
Asar didn't even start to end the year last year.
I'm just saying he's currently listed as a starting 3.
Okay. I think Tobias would probably start at 3.
Cam Johnson or Tobias Harris?
Same player.
I'm taking Cam.
I think Cam's better.
That's kind of like an equal sign.
Cam
for
did
me.
have a down year last year. Can't ignore
I
that.
have more
Defense
faith in
very
Cam
overrated.
being good this year than
But
Tobias Harris.
I would say even. It's flat.
That's fair.
I just
That's
hate.
fair.
I hate.
And Nick Claxton and Jalen Duren.
Come on.
Class.
Knicks better.
Yeah.
The Nets are pretty better along their starting lineup.
Who's the starting 1? I'm sorry.
Dennis Schroeder.
Facts. And honestly, that's good.
It's just Cade, I think, is just so much better than
so much,
Cam
like,
Thomas
he's-
or
he
Claxton,
was
whoever
willing
the
to
Cam
best
play.
player
Thomas?
is.
I mean, come on, respect Cam
No,
Thomas.
Cade clears.
He clear-
It's
like,
actually
it's-
not even.
No, I
Guys,
think Cade is better, but
no,
Cam
no,
Thomas
he clears.
How
He's
many
gonna average
tiers above is
27.5.
Cade from Cam Thomas?
Like 5.
maybe 1.
No, it's at least 2.
Cam Thomas
It's at
is
least
so
two.
good.
It's at
undoubtedly
least
three.
two.
Cam Thomas
It's
is so
not
good.
No, like Cam is like a top 140 player.
Not
in the
talking about
league.
projection.
Cade is easily like a top 60 player.
I
in
don't
the
want
world.
this to be
Top
projection based.
140 is crazy.
Ben, next season, Ben Simmons or Asor Thompson.
Ben Simmons.
I don't know. Literally, I don't
flip a
know.
coin, you're
Flip
guessing,
a coin.
you're guessing.
Asar gives me more effort. Give me Asar.
I would take Asar just
He's
for
gonna play.
Healthy Ben? Come on,
We don't
bro.
know.
Is
We
Ben
haven't
Simmons
seen that.
Healthy Ben?
over under 30 games.
Healthy Ben? Come on, bro.
Over under 30.
Asar's gonna play. Give me Asar.
Are the Nets a sleeky playing team with the
No.
100%
No.
Ben?
Next team.
Wait, with 100% Ben?
100% Ben.
Hey!
With Cam Thomas, give you
Yo,
27 a night.
Riv. They have spacing.
With Claxton?
Ooh, Claxton and
Nets.
Schroeder.
You know what?
Finish-
No,
no,
no.
Cam Johnson.
Schroeder, Cam.
What if Zach Wilson was good last year for the Jets? Would they have been a
That's what it
playoff
was.
team?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Don't ever compare Ben Simmons and Zach fucking Wilson. Don't ever do that again.
I'll
One
be
was
honest.
All NBA. The
Ben
other's the
Simmons-
biggest bust in
Ben
NFL
Simmons
history.
staying healthy, Zach Wilson being good, the odds are pretty equal.
He's cooking.
Pretty equal.
You haven't seen the reports about Ben Simmons
That's
and his
it.
trainer
He's
talking
here. He
about it.
hasn't been this.
You haven't been
this
locked
locked
in.
in.
Even
This
if
early.
Ben, listen, Ben, I pray every night you stay healthy. If Ben is healthy day 1, will he be healthy game 30?
God willing, yeah. But what if he is? But what if he is, Joel?
I'm just.
But what if he is the question.
What
This
if
is
Zach
why.
Wilson's good?
This is why I
No,
blame.
that's different because we've seen Ben play well.
This is why I blame Detroit's front office because they have us having conversations like this, stupid ass conversations.
Okay, it's
like
really
this.
dumb.
It's really not even your fault. It's really the front office's fault.
This is not a K thing. I told you this is
That's
not
what
a
I'm
K
saying.
thing.
This is it's the front office fault for allowing Cade to be stuck in this bullshit to where they're comparing his teams to teams like the Nets, the 18 win projected win Nets. Like I just.
I kind of like that Nets win total. It's just so
I mean,
low.
I think they could go over 18, right?
18's
think so.
insane.
I
Are
think
they
so.
gonna make a play-in? I'm not going.
But
No
then
way.
what if-
Sneaky
He
playing
said
was
play-in is
ridiculous.
crazy.
What if Cam is moved at the deadline?
For
What
who?
if Dorian Finney?
What if
good
Cam
player?
Thomas is just fucking amazing?
I'm talking about Cam Johnson. I'm
my
not talking about
bad.
Cam. Yeah.
My bad.
And
Well,
no,
then they'll go under
And no, he
18
won't
if they
be.
trade
I
them.
just want you to know that from the bottom of my heart, Cam Thomas won't be amazing.
Oh my God, he can say
Like
that.
he won't be.
He can
Stand
say
on that energy.
Top 140
Stand on
player. Won't be.
Stand on that.
And he's gonna have his little 5 games
Stand
where
on
you're
that.
yelling in the iMessage.
Jalen
And-
Green or Cam?
Oh, Jalen Green
Cam
every
Thomas is
fucking
a
day of the
bucket. Come
fucking week.
Keep that same energy. That's all I'm gonna say. When Cam Thomas is balling,
I know you'll have the 5 games. You'll text, and then they'll
Keep
give you
that same
months,
energy.
and you'll be quiet. And we're here. Cam's gonna give you that efficient, nasty 30 points.
what if
I'ma
he's
laugh.
efficient? You're moved.
No,
Of course. Well, you have to be.
it's Brooklyn. I don't care. Anything in Brooklyn, like when you was moved by Mikal Bridges,
God.
I wasn't moved.
Mikal
Because
Bridges
I just know the truth.
moved everybody enough to where he got traded for 4 first-round picks.
No, you're
The
idiots.
entire league
They
was
were
trying to
paid.
trade
They were
everything
paid.
from Mikal
They were paid.
Bridges.
They were paid.
You just admitted they
They were
overpaid.
Yeah, they did overpay, but every team was willing to do it. So was Memphis.
4
by the
picks?
way.
Allegedly, we don't believe in rumors.
I
at
mean,
this table.
Memphis was gonna offer what?
3.
5 first-round
3.
picks.
I
for
thought it
Mikal?
was 3.
It was
Allegedly.
5.
What?
Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
But were they
No.
all unprotected and shit? There were probably some protections.
Allegedly.
And,
John, it was 5?
The report came out as 5.
What?
Allegedly.
That's
but the
insane.
Knicks gave all unprotected picks, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know if Memphis was giving
It
3
was
to
4
4.
unprotected picks or 3.
No,
I think I'm starting.
it is 4, right?
Like if Memphis gave up 2 unprotected and 3 with all these protections, then whatever, you know.
Yeah, like who gives a fuck about those?
Yeah, so this is from May 8th. Trade for a budding star forward would certainly cost Grizzlies promising young studs.
I don't think that's for Mikal Bridges.
But just because 1 or 2 other teams would have done doesn't mean like it's not an overpay.
Cam Thomas stinks, bro. I'm sorry.
He doesn't stink.
What is Cam Thomas? What's his trade value? What does he get moved
What's
for?
his
Would you give up more than 1 unprotected first for Cam Thomas?
nah.
What team's doing
What's
that?
his
He's not getting moved. He's a part of this timeline when they get Cooper Flag.
It's a hilarious timeline, I'll be honest.
If they
Well,
get
no,
Cooper
it's-
Flag, this
they're
team
gonna be
becomes
terrible.
crazy.
Because Cooper's the
Nets-
guy.
if
here.
the Nets get
Obviously.
Cooper
Nobody's
Flag,
saying
it's
Cam
not-
Thomas
we're
is
out to
the
Barkley.
guy.
Yeah, no, it's
but
not.
he's a guy. That's
If
really
he
good.
goes to Brooklyn, we're out to Barkley.
Yeah, but they want complimentary pieces around. They want guys who fit. Cam don't fit. He just want to go out there, get buckets, do funny shit, have a laugh. We don't got time for that.
Joel, wrap it up, man.
No, I'm just trying to search for this thing. I definitely think it was 4
I
first-round
think it
picks
was 4.
minimum. It was
But I don't-
definitely 4.
But we don't know. It was 4. I think the rumor
So when
did
we
come
drop this as a segment, are we going to group it? Which of these 5 teams are going to be the best?
Yeah, Pistons versus
Oh,
Nets.
Pistons,
Who's going to be
Wizards.
fucking worse?
up. Don't sleep on Chicago.
I mean, if Zach LaVine is healthy,
good.
then you guys are going to unfortunately win more
Kobe
games
White's
than you
here.
should.
You'll be a playing team. 10 seed.
Who's you guys?
Yo, can I say you guys are actually deep at guard?
Who is you guys?
Fuck you. The
yes.
the Bulls are deep at
They've
guard.
been
You're a
like that.
Bulls fan,
They've
yeah.
been like that for
Kobe,
4
Ayo.
years.
They got
bro.
Kobe, Giddy, Zach,
Get it.
Javon,
Ayo.
Io, and God willing Zoe.
I mean, Giddy, second year average, really good
But
numbers.
they've been like that for like 4 years.
Yeah, but Zoe's never been healthy.
That's fair.
So this is
But
But
actually
but they had Caruso before it. Io was
Facts,
cool last
facts.
year. They had Lonzo, but
Is
he
Zoe
wasn't
gonna be
healthy.
ready? Game like
they're-
training camp?
Apparently,
Apparently, he might
Riv,
be.
I don't care what the hell you say.
What happened?
You're a Bulls fan.
Lock it in,
you're
I
a Bulls
understand.
fan, bro.
I respect that.
Do you not want to be one anymore?
I really don't.
It's
If I
unfortunate.
be honest, you'd look at me different. I was just like, yo, I'm done with the Broncos. You would look at me different.
I think you have more passion for the Broncos than I have for the Bulls, though. Like, by far.
But regardless, you would be
That's
looking at
because
me
you guys
different.
suck now.
Even when we were really good, though, I wasn't crazy. Like,
Yes, you were.
He had a whole Denver
When
fit on.
the first year of
Bro, he had a Denver fit on.
the first year of
look cool.
Lonzo Ball,
No, I'm not
DeMar
saying you did it.
DeRozan, and Zach LaVine and Vucevic, you said they could beat the Bucks in a
Yes,
series.
I said
That's
that.
when they had.
said they were
Zoe-
contenders.
They had one of the
Joel,
best defensive
Joel.
backcourts in the league.
When they were good, you were hyping them up.
Drew, Dehls. At any point in this podcast life, have you heard me pump up the Bulls outside of the podcast?
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Not
you
a
had
lot.
the
2021.
first-
Don't do
No,
that.
not
allowed.
2021. Don't do
You're
that.
capping.
2021. Don't do that. Well, Santos. 2021. Go look him up. When he issued the apology on the Bulls, I'll never forget it. I was in Miami.
Okay, Drew is so slow. I said outside of the podcast. When have you ever hear me do it outside?
Wait, why does it matter if it's on or off?
It
the podcast?
matters. What matters is on the
I don't
podcast.
really.
Yes.
You sure?
A little both. A little both.
I don't really talk about them a lot. Like when I talk about my teams, you hear me talk about Detroit more. You hear me talk about OKC more.
Yeah,
Like, I
because what do
don't.
the Bulls have going on that excites
When
you?
they were
Nothing.
good,
They had
you
Zach
hyped them
LaVine
up
and
a
you were
lot.
meat writers.
Well,
What are you talking
well,
about?
that's when y'all
That
were
doesn't
good.
even make sense.
When y'all were good.
DeMar DeRozan had a historic February. I
Why,
could've been
why
geeked.
not be a fan of like Chicago?
It's just, they're not
Like
good.
obviously
shit
not good now,
franchise.
but like if they're
Wait, so
good
you're
in a few
not
years,
you're not a
like,
fan just because they're not good right now.
They've just made too many bad moves.
If
I want
they
to leave.
if they become good 3 years from now, are you gonna
I'm
be,
be
are you
honest
gonna
with
be a
you,
Bulls
Riv.
fan?
I'm not. This isn't
He's
good,
front runner.
bro.
He's front runner.
Yeah, as hell.
Oh, I don't front run. I picked some pretty bad
You're a
teams.
Warriors fan.
Steph.
And when the dynasty was at just heading
You're rooting for the
into it.
Sixers this year.
Paul George.
I know.
Which
I
is
root for
players,
Detroit.
and the players happen to be on decent teams.
You know the thing is, you're trying to
Who's your
cancel
most
out.
underrated team in the Western Conference?
Denver.
Warriors.
I'm not a
Okay.
team though. Well, that's not my team.
We're
Denver's
on
not
you.
my team.
We're on you.
Riv roots for
They're
so
my
many
team.
teams that the bad teams cancel out with the
It's
great
literally like
teams.
7 bad teams.
It's
Like
a lot.
no troll.
It's maybe two.
It's bad.
It's
No.
maybe two.
No, it's way more
It's
than
maybe
2.
two.
It's like 5.
It's the
Or the
Pistons and who?
Cavaliers.
Is it still pinned?
Bad, though, they're
Grizzlies.
not bad.
No, I'm saying of the bad teams.
Yeah,
it's literally the Pistons
check my pin team.
and who?
That's what I'm looking up.
Go check my
Pistons
pin
and
team.
who? Name
Don't
it.
you just know?
'Cause
I'm
you
not
like
gonna say
OKC,
that. I'm not
right?
gonna say- I love OKC.
Okay, we
well,
got
there you
go. Here we go.
Warriors. Bad team, no.
No.
Middle of the pack.
No.
Okay,
not a bad-
Pistons, bad team.
Horrible.
Yes.
Cavs, OKC, Houston, no.
Houston was-
Yeah, but now
Okay.
no.
They're
Spurs.
frisky.
Spurs.
Bad team.
They have Victor Wembanyama.
They're a bad
They have
team.
Victor Wembanyama.
This is
When
a
the-
new
when the
addition,
hell
no?
did he become
Spurs?
Spurs?
This is
Whoa,
the new.
whoa! Don't do that to me. No. When Stephon Castle got drafted, what did I tell you guys?
yes.
Yeah. What did I tell you guys? Thank
But
you.
also,
No, thank
Wemby
you.
happens to be there.
I forgot about
That doesn't mean they're not bad.
No, you got it. The
you. I
Stephon
appreciate
Castle
it.
shit got it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I said
That
that earlier.
saved you.
I said
You
that
had-
earlier.
That saved you.
You had Clippers, but this was pending Paul George trade.
Correct.
So now it's Sixers.
No, but yes.
Yes,
But
so
Sixers.
it's the Sixers.
Wizards, bad team.
Bad team.
Why?
Stop.
Why
stop.
the Wizards?
Jordan
Jordan
Poole.
Poole.
Stop
Jordan
forgetting,
Poole.
bro.
That's on me.
Stop forgetting.
That's on me.
Magic, good team.
Good team.
Memphis, good team.
They were bad last year.
Portland, bad team.
Oh, that doesn't
Utah,
count,
bad
though.
team.
You're still here with Portland.
Come on. Yes.
Why?
Scoot.
Shaden Sharp.
I didn't know you were
Shaden.
still Scoot.
Scoot. Shaden. I'm a clean guy. Come on. Come on.
I didn't know it was Scoot still.
I'm here.
Portland, Utah.
We're,
bad team.
we're running dry.
it.
So how many bad teams was that?
like
Were you
4.
guys counting?
3.
So Riv,
Three.
if one
Pistons.
if every NBA
Spurs.
team just
We're not
has a
counting
player
Spurs,
on the
bro.
roster
Okay.
that you
Wizards.
like, are you just
No, I
one of
can't
them?
do that far.
Portland,
I think
Utah.
that I think where I'm at right now is
Utah's there
happy.
too?
Utah's there.
Utah's
Why is
there.
Utah?
Lori, come on.
That's all right.
So come on, like he talks about Lori every podcast or something. I'm talking about Lori. I don't know how
And
well.
am I not talking about Will Hardy though?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I like Will Hardy and stuff like that. Don't do that.
It's crazy.
He looked at me like I was fucking
Yeah,
stupid.
like it was fucking
Bro.
no,
Steph,
like I
bro.
said the dumbest shit on earth.
Bro,
Lori, bro.
bro.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I do make these tweets before the season start though. I do very
they're
well
good
make them very
tweets.
known before the season start.
But
But Utah got
fuck.
dropped.
And Bulls
Utah's
are not
cut?
even there.
No Bulls.
No, okay, real shit about that day. I actually just genuinely forgot to put Bulls.
Didn't
Like,
D
that's
Mills
what-
cook you for
I'll
that?
be honest, he doesn't deserve to be a
No,
Bulls
he,
fan. I'm
he
with it.
deserves to be. He needs to be punished.
No, because if the Bulls
Nuts.
get nice in a couple of years, I don't want him to
My
be
bad.
there.
My bad.
The Bulls get nice, I don't want him to jack the Bulls.
I won't.
You're done.
I won't.
If you guys
over.
get Cooper Flag, I'll be
I don't give a
happy.
fuck
won't.
who
I
y'all
won't.
get. It could be one
I
of your
won't.
guys. You're
I
If
done
they
with
get
Chicago.
Cooper Flag, he's
He
glazed.
deserves it.
I
Stop.
did say
I
where
know.
Cooper
No,
goes.
no,
Oh, that's
my
front
God.
running.
He's front running.
I don't think so.
What do you
Number one
mean?
overall pick.
I'm
Cade,
gonna run into a bad
you got
team.
fucking Flag.
If they're bad, you're not there. But if they can Cooper flag, you're a Bulls guy.
Front running is when you jump to a team that's winning. We know that. Let's
Or
not
you're
change that.
projecting
Let me ask
them
you a
to be
question.
good.
Do you look at me at front running for fucking with Zion when he was drafted #1
No.
overall? Really?
No.
Even though he got all this fucking hype out of college?
I
No.
well,
Well, Drew, it's a difference between being a fan of the player and then rooting for all
Yeah,
those
I'm not
teams.
rooting for. I mean,
you kind of
part of me fucks with the Pelicans. I fuck with them. I
Loki.
fuck with them.
Front running is like kind of what you did with the Rams, to a degree, when they got Stafford.
Well, it wasn't front run. Oh, I guess, but that was more
your pick.
agenda.
Yeah, that was-
agenda.
Feel me? But I just
And I cooked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But listen,
It was agenda turned front running. I'll say
for sure.
at a point
Yeah,
in time.
that's fair. That's
The
fair.
first year when
You front running when they got Von
Oh,
Miller.
brother, he front runs.
I know. We know.
wait, no, Burrow, I've been said
He's a
was
top
going to be
pick.
nice.
You just told me
Yeah.
about the top pick thing. So is that the same thing?
Well,
Is you
no,
front run Burrow?
It's a difference.
I
There's a
watch
difference.
these players in high school, college. It's the same thing.
I watched Joe
What
Burrow
high school
in
did Cooper
college.
Flag go to?
He went to Mount Verde.
Nice.
He's going to do.
Well, that's an easy
I know.
one. I mean, come on.
I mean, shit. Stanley Johnson went to. Nope, don't have it in my cards.
But the Chiefs one, I 100% give you. But I'm more of a fan of Patrick Mahomes, and of course, I want him to win. So,
But you just said if I do the #1 pick, I'm front running.
You front run with Mahomes. And that's fair.
no, not all the time. It's because I'm saying you're front running with the Bulls because they have been your childhood team.
No, I don't want to be a fan.
And then
I'm a
now
grown
you
man
don't
now.
want to be a fan because they're bad.
Yeah.
But if they get the best prospect in the
no.
draft, you're a fan
I'm
of
gonna
them
say it
again.
here. I won't jump on the ship if they're good again.
Let me ask you guys a question.
they
If
got
when
Cooper
LeBron
Flag.
retires,
I won't.
I'm just like Knicks fan. You guys aren't gonna look at me funny?
No.
No, I don't care because you're a LeBron fan.
I think
you're not a
it's
Lakers
New
fan.
You
York
don't have
this year.
you don't really have a loyalty to a team.
Like if you said fucking like OKC, I'd be like, all right.
I really want to be a Knicks fan.
I mean, I think the fact that we're in Jersey is valid.
I think you don't have any real loyalty to a team, so you're not leaving anybody. Like you don't have a loyalty to the
Are you
Lakers.
still gonna like? Is the Knicks gonna be your team and Lakers second, or Lakers just dead?
You do have AD there.
I love AD.
Also, Riv, I didn't know the Bengals were going to be good.
You think I'm supposed to fucking know Detroit was gonna be in this
You wanna
mess?
No,
why
I know,
wanna be a
I know,
Knicks fan?
but that's why
Because
you're
I
not-
did
you
this
don't
whole
front run
stay
for
with Denver
Detroit.
shit,
Okay.
and it's
Yeah,
killing
like-
So
me.
who do I front
It's
run
killing
for?
me. I've stayed with Denver and it's killing me.
I don't think there's a team I front like
pick the
Philly.
Giants
Yes,
wouldn't have been much
I front
better.
run for them.
I'm
Golden
gonna be
State,
honest,
you
bro.
can
It's
say-
only Golden State.
Okay, that's fair. Golden
only
State and
Golden
Philly
State.
is the only ones I front
Because
run for.
OKC, you were fans of them before they became this good.
You did
So
front
that's
run Golden
so
State.
that's why I don't. That's why that doesn't count for. That's why I don't think Joe Burrow counts for me as front runner
Okay.
because I didn't.
Yeah, Mahomes counts.
Oh yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine
okay.
with that.
That's fair.
right,
Golden
thank
State.
you.
I'm fine with
Yes.
When Steph became nice, I was there. To
I'll
the
tell you what,
fucking
Joel,
moon.
we're the least front runners. I'm definitely more of a front runner than you are. You're
been-
definitely
I've
last on
only-
that totem
yeah.
pole, but
I'll say with
mean, I
the
haven't
Rams
been
though.
through much dirt,
this is
but
what I meant
shit.
earlier, and I wanted to finish it because in 2021 you had the agenda that you just had the Rams win the Super Bowl, and you were right on that, and that was agenda driven. The next year, we thought the Rams would be better, and then they missed the playoffs. You didn't talk about them much. And then
They were terrible.
heading into 2023, we all thought they'd be terrible, but then they were
were nice.
good.
You were
my
back.
week
And
one
then-
overreaction was
Yes, you're right.
they make the playoffs.
But then you said Ramley, and that was that.
You
That
definitely were
moment
back.
was front running.
You were back.
Ramley will always love me. They'll always
know.
welcome me and they always
But I'm
understand
saying
what
that
I've done.
that moment was front running. Once you thought they'd be bad, and then they ended up being good, and you're like,
front
yeah,
running, they were a
Rams.
wild card team.
They were one of the hottest teams on the show.
They were definitely out.
But I was
on the hottest
there.
teams.
I said they would make the playoffs week one.
Yeah, but saying they were gonna be bad, trash, which we all said before
Yes.
the season, and then them being really good,
But
and
that
then
was
you
off
being,
a week one overreaction.
I'm just
But
saying.
when they were bad, I don't blame like Stafford,
Stafford was
was hurt.
hurt.
There was
But that's
something
what
to
front
talk
running
about.
is. It's starting to hop on the team when you see that they're gonna be
Yep.
really
What
good.
I'm front running
I think-
right now is more so with what I'm doing with the Saints is more front running than the Rams.
If it's not
by
your team,
far.
it's okay. Like he was a Chicago fan, that's why it's fake crazy. But he's a Denver fan, so if it's the Rams, I get it. Like
I've only front running twice in my life.
and I'm
Golden
not.
State and Philly. Oh, and Clippers. I front run the Clippers for sure.
Clippers.
anyone
I
else?
forgot about that.
No, that's pretty much it. Everybody, I tell people in advance, these are my guys, draft day. Whoever they go to, but I'm not gonna make it like 20 teams. That's a little too much.
You're at fucking 15.
I'm actually at like 11 right now.
It's definitely cut down a bit.
I
What are we
cut.
at?
I can understand your perspective though
Yeah.
about how it's not like you saw the Rams be really good. And then we're just like, yeah,
12.
I fuck with them.
12.
You saw it after week one, so it was a low sample
Yeah.
size. It's kind of like
That's
the
12.
Saints right now.
Exactly.
Even though it
No
could still be
Clippers, you got
categorized as
Philly.
front running
for sure.
based off.
I
what
see
Saints
that a
fans
little
say.
bit more so than
Cut
the
in Utah?
Rams.
It's 11.
Cut Utah.
Cut Utah 11.
Bro, Bori.
Cut Utah. We need to get that shit to 10.
I think it's okay to have one front running team that you root for in each sport. Mine's just the Chiefs. I don't root for no other. I'm not
Is
not
mine the
front running
Knicks? Even though I
any
kind
other
of been
team.
with the Knicks for my tenure with
I
the
guess mine
podcast.
is Philly. Like,
Am I a front runner for the Ravens or the Eagles? I
Yes.
Eagles.
I've been here with Lamar
I would
for-
say
Not the
more
Eagles.
They were
so
nice.
more so with the Ravens. Eagles, I'll give you because you were here with Jalen Hurts before Jalen Hurts took that next
Lamar
step.
too, though. I mean, I was going into Lamar's year. I was like,
You
he
did.
could be a dude.
You did say that.
I wouldn't categorize you in either.
I don't think you're an Eagles fan though, so I wouldn't
No,
categorize
Hurts.
that.
Well, for both teams, it's Hurts. But for quarterbacks,
And I think
you
you're.
have to
No,
win.
I really think you're like a genuine low down Ravens fan. Like I think you are.
I think so too.
Just for football and you're a quarterback, you have to win.
It's true.
No, I understand, but I
that's
think-
why I
I
get
think-
called the Dolphins fan.
I think
because
you're
I love Tua.
like do or die. Like when we do the pick'ems, me do or die.
Oh,
Buffalo.
okay. But again, it's
Eagles.
because I have just like
With you,
blind
do
faith
or
in Lamar.
yeah,
you
but
know
that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean?
With you, it's do or die. Baltimore.
That's a
But the
fact.
Eagles is kind of like,
Well,
You know,
I mean,
he's right.
Philly.
It's no
And the
shame.
Ravens are better than the Eagles.
Yeah,
also
it's no shame. Like you're a Ravens fan. I don't even blame you for it. I would love it.
And I also
You're
hate the
doing something
Steelers, so
right.
it kind of fits.
Yeah, like, you definitely do. You hate the Bengals. So.
That's going to do it for episode 410 of the Pick a Side Podcast, Eastern
That's
Conference
crazy.
NBA preview.
Fuck me, I'm
Thank you guys
back.
for watching. We'll be back here Friday next week to do the Western Conference. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on TikTok and Instagram at Pick a Side Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.